Hello there, and welcome back to the Agostino Zinga Show with your host, Agostino Zinga, and this is episode number 961. That is Nuevo Seis Uno of the Agostino Zinga Show, coming at you live and direct from an undisclosed location, somewhere in the depths of London. How you doing? How you feeling? Great, amazing. How am I? All good, all things considered. All good, all things considered. Having an absolute whale of a time. Having an absolute whale of a freaking time. So, have you guys heard about this crazy situation happening with Spotify? Allegedly, Spotify is in the recruitment game. Spotify has been running ICE advertisements in the US. You know, when you pay for Spotify, or if you don't pay for it, or whatever tier you were in, they usually run some adverts in between some songs you're listening to. Well, they're running an ICE advertisement on fucking Spotify. And it's legitimately blowing my mind. This is fucking crazy. Listen to this clip. Listen to this recording somebody made from their car radio.
Predators. Join the mission to protect America with bonuses up to $50,000 and generous benefits. Apply now. Join.ice.gov and fulfill your mission.
One more time. Fulfill your mission,
Predators.
you know.
Join the mission to protect America with bonuses up to $50,000 and generous benefits. Apply now. Join.ice.gov and fulfill your mission.
Fulfill your mission, you know. Join right now. Absolutely flipping crazy. It kind of legitimately feels like they're going out of their way to alienate their customers. They're going out of their way to alienate their base. They're going out of their way to alienate the artists who are already on the fence about Spotify, because the founder of Spotify, Daniel Ek, has been involved in actively invested in weapons companies and shit. And if I'm not mistaken, those weapons companies are using some of those weapons in flipping Israel are using some of those weapons against the Palestinians and shit. So some really dicey, dodgy, really not even Scrooge McDuck. Some proper superhero villain type shit, right? Some Lex Luthor type shit. And they don't seem to be giving a fuck. So I wonder, do Spotify on there and know that for the most part, all of these artists who are usually, you'd imagine, quite left-leaning, aren't necessarily about it. And although they're going to whine and bitch and complain on social, maybe they actually won't do what needs to be done and boycott that platform en masse to kind of send a message. Because this is kind of fucked up. I'm not going to lie, it's kind of fucked up. I get it, it's a government agency. I get it, it's a job they're advertising for. There's no different for them running an ad on Spotify than fucking, you know, PepsiCo or whatever else it may be. But it does kind of stand out as overly egregious, especially when you kind of, you know, think about some of the ICE raids I'm sure some of you guys have seen over the last few months. They've not been the most humane thing to see. They've been pretty traumatic to view. I'm assuming they've been horrible to go through if you're the person that's being deported in that manner, right? Very inhumane, very disruptive, very aggressive, just very unnecessarily cruel, really, in the grand scheme of things. No, I don't think, you know what's really funny about the ICE deportations? I don't think there's a lot of people now arguing that mass deportations there isn't a problem with like illegal immigration. I don't think you're going to find even a left-leaning person who's going to tell you that they believe that there's no problem with illegal immigration. I think most people understand that illegal migration or illegal immigration is a problem and that you need to have a handle on it and get it right. But nobody agrees with the way they're doing it. That's what's really fucking up. Nobody's agreeing with the way the American government are trying to keep, you know, get it under control. Are trying to rectify the situation by pulling mothers and fathers and whatever else away from their fucking children, sometimes right in front of them, pulling people off of fucking job sites, really crazy shit. And like I said previously, I think weirdly enough, in terms of like a PR optics point of view, I think the Trump administration really missed a trick by not actually immediately wrangling all of these alleged like crime lords, these cartel bosses, right? These big drug kingpins who are allegedly illegal immigrants who also were running clandestine operations in America. If they would have arrested some big dogs that way, I think people would have been a lot more forgiving of seeing, like, you know, your fucking Tio or Tia or Abuela fucking getting arrested. But because most of the people that you're seeing getting arrested are guys and girls or men and women working on job sites, maids and stuff, people working fucking menial jobs, it's sort of like, is this the whole big push against illegal migration is just to kind of get people out of the country who you would deem to be people who probably don't, people who aren't probably the biggest issue when it comes to legal migration, you would imagine, right? The biggest issue would be the people that they kind of mentioned, but it's not really getting kind of sorted out. Either way, it's a really crazy thing to kind of see and to see it play out. But I'm curious to see how the artists will respond to seeing this on fucking Spotify, because it feels like Spotify, every other day there's some sort of issue. There's some sort of thing that they're doing. They don't seem to give a fuck. Just the other day, actually, they ran a little special move that I kind of rated. I kind of respected the move that they did, where Daniel Ek came out and said, "I'm stepping down." Remember that whole thing? Very clever move, right? Because there was a lot of artists that were deciding to boycott Spotify, pulling their music off of the platform and shit. And Daniel Ek decided to come out and say, "Yeah, I'm stepping down as CEO of whatever, Spotify." But if you read the article, you'll see that he's stepping down from day-to-day operations, but he's still heavily involved in Spotify. He's not going anywhere. But they put it out there as a way to kind of appease people who thought Daniel Ek was the big bad wolf, right? And to kind of make sure and to kind of let it be known that he wasn't involved daily in the business to maybe appease some people who had boycotted the platform. But it wasn't the case. So it was a really well played move. But then now today, out of the blue, you know, it kind of gets spoken about that they allegedly have these ads running on the radio or on Spotify. And you're wondering to yourself, like, what are they doing? Are they just not caring about how it's being perceived? Are they trying to call the artist bluff? Is this just another ad to them? It doesn't, not really personal, it's business. I don't know. I'm really curious to see how it plays out. I really am curious to see how it plays out. There's an article regarding it, actually, courtesy of Consequence of Sound. Big up them. The article says Spotify continue running ICE recruitment ads as boycott grows. More boycotts are growing, but Spotify don't give an absolute FUCK. It says as follows. Let's read this article. It says Spotify has no plans to pull Department of Homeland Security ICE recruitment ads from its platform, though, as the streamer told Newsweek, listeners are welcome to give the ads a thumbs up and a thumbs down. Lols, bro. That's taking the piss. The advertisements are quote. The advertisements is part of a broad campaign the US government is running across television, streaming, and online channels, Spotify said in the statement. The content does not violate our advertising policies. However, users can mark with the thumbs up or thumbs down to help manage their ad preferences. So they didn't even come out and say the views expressed by the American government do not reflect the views of Spotify. He just said, no, we've got it on our platform. If it's on our platform, it's like a likes count as an endorsement, and that's it. If you don't like it, you know, SUC, you know, SMD or whatever, SMD, you know, if you don't like it, SMD. Spotify users began noticing that the ICE recruitment ads earlier this week, offering $50,000, signing bonuses, and prompting a wave of boycotts calls across the social media. I'm not gonna lie, in this current economy, with the job market being the way it is, it's no surprise there's so many ICE agents willing to, you know, do a madness to their fellow American citizen and kind of pull, or not fellow American, to their, you know, fellow American people, let's say, and go about and kind of take part in these raids, these abductions. $50,000 signing bonus in this economy where people are getting turned down for jobs in McDonald's and shit. People are getting, people are, who said it? I forgot what shop it was. Was it like Walmart or something? Somebody said that, somebody went viral on Twitter saying how they had to write a personal statement for a fucking job at Walmart. So if that's the case, and these guys are offering $50,000, and you get to wear a fucking shiesty, right? You get to wear a shiesty to hide your fucking identity. It's not too bad, is it? It really, really, really isn't too bad if you think about it. $50,000. I really understand. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's still crazy to do. You shouldn't probably do it. I don't think so. It's not probably going to be good for your spirit and your soul. to be somebody responsible for pulling or ripping families apart in the first place, regardless of what person's status is or not. You being the person that kind of authored those things and put into action will probably not sit well with your soul and your spirit in the long term. But 50,000 signing bonus, that's not nothing. The quote here says, I get an ad and it starts with millions of dangerous illegals are rampaging the streets. Join today. Rampage? No, they're not. The illegals aren't rampaging the street. Most of them are just working a fucking dead-end cash-in-hand job to pay for, you know, to send back home and to kind of keep a roof over their heads and their bellies full. Rampaging the streets, you know. User Miss Mia 777 posted on TikTok. I don't pick up on my phone while driving. I picked up my phone with the quickness and deleted the app. On Reddit, boycott threads have quickly climbed to the top of our music. For its part, Department of Homeland Security says the quote, the recruitment campaign is a resounding success. Similar ads have also appeared in Pandora, YouTube, Max, Hulu, and in other months. This, or imagine, I'm not boycotting YouTube, by the way. If there's an ICE advert on here, I'm not boycotting YouTube. If this platform turns into fucking Tory Tube, I'm not boycotting this place. If this turns into fucking, I don't know, name the person, I'm not boycotting, by the way. Just FYI. FYI, FAO. This year, Spotify has also been targeted with boycotts due to the CEO Daniel Ike's stake in a drone company called Helsing Massive Attack. Look at even the name sounds evil. Even the name sounds evil, man. This, imagine the founder of fucking Spotify has shares, a big stake in a fucking droning company called Helsing Massive Attack. King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard and Zhu, Dear Wolf, Hotline TNT, big up Hotline TNT, great little band, Godspeed You, and Black Emperor have all poured their music in protest. Helsing has issued a statement reading, in part our technology is deployed to European countries for defense and defenses against the Russian aggression in Ukraine only. So basically saying, hey, when push comes to shove, when the Russians, right, when the fucking Ruskies come over the hill, you're gonna need us. So shut the fuck up, right? That's kind of what they're saying. That's kind of what they're saying, and I kind of rate it. I'm not going to lie. I kind of fucking rate it. Let's continue. Oh, some people saying what they're saying here. Let's hear some of these TikTokers. What are they talking about?
Bunch of tyrannical billionaires wasn't enough for you to switch over and boycott Spotify. Maybe this will be enough for you. Just so you guys know, you can transfer playlists over to places like Tidal and Apple Music, and you don't have to support a business that supports ICE. Not to mention the fact that your streaming quality will be higher with Apple Music or Tidal or pretty much any other streaming service. So yeah, boycott Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify is mad quiet, by the way. Spotify is mad low the volume. I do use it for my indie music sort of vibe. Like I've got a subscription on Spotify and Apple Music. I mostly use Apple Music for my main music library sort of you know, organization or playing whatever. But I do use Spotify for the odd podcast listen, for again like more stuff aimed towards the other alternative genres outside of rap and shit. I definitely listen to it on my Spotify, so that's why I usually mainly do it. But I do notice a difference, even with my noise cancelling headphones. I do notice a dip in quality in terms of loudness when it comes to Spotify and Apple. Honestly do. Honestly do. No, thank you. Yeah, background, too much background noises, But big up Ice, big up Blood Clot Ice, and somebody on the indie music Reddit said the following. This is quite funny, by the way. Spotify agents are not answering ICE related questions and are ending the conversation. I think this is kind of funny, I'm not going to lie. This person spoke to somebody on the ICE customer support, and they said, hi, I've read the Spotify's advertising ICE commercials. Is this true? If so, I would like to cancel my subscription. And then the conversation just ended straight away. So I guess ICE agents have been told not to communicate any customers, even via the online chat, regarding to the fucking ICE deportations and shit. It's pretty fucking crazy. Honestly, it's pretty fucking gnarly. It's pretty fucking gnarly. And then there's this really cool article too, courtesy of The Guardian, about King Gizzard. It says King Gizzard Stu Mackenzie on leaving Spotify and making all their music free. Sometimes you forget that you have free will. I fucking love this, by the way. Let's quickly check out what they're saying here. Over their mind-boggling 15-year, 27-album career. Rah, King Gizzard been around for that long. King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard have switched gears, and the speed abandoned for the stunt drivers in Fast and Furious film can't even describe the six-piece psychedelic rock band anymore. Their music to date has encompassed metal, folk, jazz, dance music. They've experimented with dense concept records and microtonal tunings. In July, King Gizzard made their latest hairpin turn, removing all their music from Spotify in protest of CEO Daniel Ek's investment from firm Prima Matera, putting 600 million euros into the AI military tech firm called Helsing. Ek is also Helsing's chairman. Fucking hell. We have done a lot of different things over the years, but sometimes you just forget that you have free will. You can do whatever you want in these spaces, says the frontman, which I agree. Definitely that is something that needs to be reminded. A lot of these artists, like, you can just do things on your own, quote unquote, put on your own shows, not be managed by anybody else, and take the whatever full cut, whatever the cut of whatever you're making on the door, and kind of go from there. It doesn't always have to be this strenuous relationship where you're beholden by these streaming platforms, beholden by these clubs, beholden by these labels. So I love that the fucking veil was removed from their eyes. I fucking love it. It's gonna be harder for her, of course, because I think she's gonna be in a, you know, it's gonna harder for them in general when they offer Spotify, King Gizzard, but it's still a noteworthy and commendable stance that they're taking. I'm not going to lie. What else? I don't particularly want to try to put a movement or anything like that. I'm happy with the other people joining, but for us, it was a decision about our music and decision about what we think is right and what we think is not right. We decided we're not going to walk and deal with the consequences any better. The parties before Milan, also which ones there, been many. The move has inspired by Leah Senior, another Melbourne musician who's close friends with the collaborator of the group. We had a couple of hours living as well, but it was when Leah left, she and I had this conversation about it. I told her I was really proud of her and I thought it was an awesome thing. I kind of became a beautiful thing. You look at people and leaving, and that's really admirable. Courage to do the thing and different is also right. So big up Blood Clot King Gizzard, man. Big up Blood Clot King Gizzard. Absolutely crazy situation all around. Hopefully Spotify get their act together. Hopefully Spotify gets their act together. Yo, big up Jordan Bentley. Big up Blood Clot Jordan Bentley. He sat down, Jordan Bentley of HYPLAND, you know the name. Big up HYPLAND. He sat down with fucking Hype. He sat down with ASSPIZZA, not Hypebeast. He sat down with ASSPIZZA, who's doing this really cool little October marathon live stream, which I did fucking for 2 months in a row, I think, across the last few months on the Random Show channel. Make sure you check that out. But he's doing an October marathon where he's streaming, I think, every day, all day. I'm not mistaken. I think he just keeps the camera on when he goes to sleep and shit. It's pretty fucking gnarly over there on Twitch. So big up fucking ASSPIZZA. And he's having random people pop in and just kind of do interviews, right? He had like really cool streetwear people. He had like Lucas Sabat, Heron Preston, a few other people too that I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's a cool kind of scene, little kind of chat and whatever else it may be. And Jordan Bentley decided to sit down with ASSPIZZA and basically detail his experience meeting Virgil on the mastered course that I worked on and helped to produce single-handedly. Big up me and Dariush. Me and Dariush were literally responsible for putting that whole curriculum together. I booked basically all the guest speakers. Apart from Virgil, I think I booked every other tutor that was on that course. I'm the one especially too that I'm pretty sure I was handpicked. I handpicked Jordan. I'm pretty sure I'm the one that picked Jordan to do the consultation with Virgil, that legendary video clip that I'm sure a lot of you have checked out on my channel, I've seen other places, where Virgil kind of gives Jordan Bentley, a very young Jordan Bentley at the time, I think he was 18 or something, he gives him the fucking his opinion and his review of his brand, and tells him to hone in on the anime sort of stuff, and kind of just gives him loads of jewels that he then went on to kind of do amazing stuff with it as well. Honestly, big up Jordan Bentley, man. He's got a legit business off the back back of this. I think he mentions in this interview he bought his mama a house off this back of this fucking brand. He's got his own house as well. Like, young man, fucking sick business that he's running at the same time. I fucking love it. I think he recently mentioned he stocked in Zoomies, which is an amazing fucking achievement. But I really did enjoy listening to his perspective, because I know my perspective of working in the background, working behind the scenes, and trying to put that fucking course together legitimately was one of the hardest jobs I've ever had. One of the most funnest jobs I've ever had, but super fucking hard. But let's listen to fucking Jordan Bentley give his impression of his time on Streetwear Mastered. I'm taking part on that Streetwear course led by the one and only great late Virgil Abloh, and I'll give you my impression on the other side. Big up Jordan Bentley, big up ASSPIZZA.
I want to say I was in 2015 or 14. HYPLAND had already, we had been on like the forums. You remember back in the day, like Nike Talk, Reddit, all that stuff. Yeah. We were on the forums hella deep. HYPLAND already had like a cool little following or whatever. And I remember I got an email because I used to be on Hypebeast forums from this program. It was called Streetwear Mastered, and they were like, yo, we like your brand. We would love for you to apply.
By the way, the company was called Mastered, but the course was called Streetwear. So they had a photography, mastered photography, but I think it was that way around, Streetwear Mastered. But they had a photography course, they had a makeup course, they had a styling course, I think, and something else. But essentially for each course, there was a lead tutor, like a lead person figurehead. And on the Streetwear course was Virgil Abloh, and then it was kind of like a pyramid underneath Virgil. Underneath that main tutor, there'll be different people that would lead in different parts of the curriculum. So there'll be an expert in retail, there'll be an expert in branding, there'll be an expert in positioning, expert in marketing, expert in this, expert in that. I think I was responsible for getting Samuel Ross on there. Big up Samuel Ross from A Cold War. I got him involved there. Fraser Cook involved. A bunch of people. Mike Sherman from fucking whatever the fucking brand is called. Marketplace. Marketplace. Whatever. Chinatown Market, right? Now it's called, I think, just Marketplace. So it was a fucking amazing job. Anyway, let me stop interrupting and play it the whole way through.
To this program that we're doing, do you think it would be useful? We'll give you like a code for it to go for free. So I'm like, all right, like I'll sign up for this program. I have nothing to lose. Like, I'll check it out. So what Streetwear Master was at that time was like a brand incubator, and kind of like the courses that all these influencers try to sell now, where they like tell you like about like brand DNA, how to start a brand. You like look at brand case studies, dudes like Mike Sherman from like Chinatown Market, and all these just different, like Jerry Lorenzo was on there, Virgil was on there, obviously. It's all these like different like leaders back in like 2014 to like 16 were just part of this program, giving out like free game, teaching anybody who wanted to start a brand how to start that brand, right?
And that was the best part about it. That was something that me and Dariush were very, very, very adamant on. We wanted the course to be helpful. We wanted it to be beneficial. A lot of these brands, Jordan wasn't one of them, but a lot of the brands paid a lot of money to be on that course. They paid thousands to be on that course. It was not a fucking cheap course. Maybe compared to a degree is cheap, but it wasn't cheap if you're making a brand. Maybe you should be investing that money back into your brand, really, you know, trying to make it happen, not really trying to go on a course. But we wanted to make sure that if you did pay that money, you were going to get something substantial out of it. And not just have the Virgil stamp, but actually get something from it. So they had fucking portfolio reviews, you know, loads of videos are going up as well. The production that they had in-house. Big up Stu, big up fucking Matt. Like, incredible video production, and everyone else that helped out in terms of turning those videos around. Fucking incredible. I really did enjoy it, man. Really, really, really fun job. And it's really good feeling to see people like Jordan Bentley, who got so much out of it and is still kind of gaining off the back of this, you know? He's still kind of shining. He's still kind of elevating off the back of that one little thing that was kind of somewhat beneficial. It's kind of really, really cool to see. I'm not going to lie. He fucking killed it. Big up Jordan Bentley.
So they invited me to join. When I was on the program, I was like, I don't really like this because I feel like I'm a little further ahead. So I was like, I stopped doing it. I got a random call one day. It was summertime of my sophomore year of college. I was in my little apartment. I got a call one day from a London number. And the lady called me and she was like, hey, like, I know you're a Streetwear Mastered. Would you be interested in sitting down with one of our teachers in the program for an interview for a video? And I'm like,
and I'm the one that shortlisted all the brands. I shortlisted all the brands to take part in that one-on-one consultation with Virgil. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to go out and fly out to LA to go do it. Stu and Matt and a few other people were mostly in charge of that sort of stuff, but I was in charge of making sure that the right people were put in front of Virgil so that he could give them the right piece of feedback, and they could also get a lot more from it, and it would also make for compelling content. So when I saw Jordan stuff, HYPLAND stuff, it was a no-brainer. I knew Virgil would have a lot to say about it, direction-wise, what he could do, what he can improve, what he does well, blah, 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 blah. But I didn't know it would go as well as it did on the video. honestly, the final product was fucking amazing. Jordan, especially at that age, 18 at that time, very on point, very clocked in about what he wanted to do, was able to ask some good questions, and again, somebody that's willing to learn. That's also a really big thing as well. I fucking loved it. I fucking loved every part of it. Those guys created magic with that video. Absolute magic. Big up Stu, big up Matt.
Like, sure, like, I don't know who, they didn't say who it was. They're like, okay, we'll give you a call back in like 2 days. They're just like, just now that we know you're open to it, just reach out for a phone call. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I hopped on, I got a phone call 2 days later, and they're like, hey, what's your schedule like tomorrow? Can you meet us in LA at a house in Silver Lake, and can you bring a mood board? You're gonna meet with Virgil Abloh. I'm like, back in the day, this is when Pyrex Virgil was out. So like, he had just put out that big ass Pyrex video, the fucking Kanye shit was coming out, and I'm just like.
And quickly, if I'm not mistaken, I think the mood board idea might have been Dariush's, because I think he was lecturing, I think, part-time at University of Arts London, and I obviously come from a product design background, obviously in St. Martin's, but there was this thing where most art colleges do like portfolio reviews, where you'd sit down with your tutor. Sometimes it was, I don't know if it was term or semester, but you'd have portfolio reviews where they would kind of go through your portfolio and kind of give you feedback. Sometimes it'd be a portfolio review based on a brief you were given. So maybe you were given a brief to design a new fucking washing machine, I don't know, a fucking ironing board, a TV stand, a couch or something, and then you get a portfolio review based on that brief. So that's where the portfolio review kind of thing kind of came in. It was a big fucking deal, but I guess to make it kind of palatable and easy for people to understand, we kind of called it mood boards, if I'm not mistaken. But it was kind of cool. Even the backend, honestly, the mastered backend as well, is pretty fucking sick. Everyone that built the site, like a lot of people involved behind the scenes to make it work. Really fucking cool little company. It's unfortunate it didn't really last too long, and the company didn't really go on to do bigger and greater things, and that kind of field or that market, that sector kind of got diluted, and loads of other companies kind of came in doing the same sort of thing, similar sort of thing over the years. But honestly, when it was at its pomp, it was fucking great, and I think the general premise of it was really astute. I think the guy's name was Adil, I think the founder. Is it Adil? Abda? I think it was Adil, the founder of it. The kind of premise about it was that basically to make it democratized, right? To democratize the fashion industry, to allow people that don't live in like the quote unquote cultural fashion hotbeds to be able to have access to people that they probably would never have access to kind of widen the net in terms of the gathering of talent and shit. It's fucking, and it did exactly what it was meant to do. It put a lot of people on, it inspired a bunch of people, and I think people are still gaining and still fucking winning from it right now, which is really fucking amazing.
He's like, make a mood board. Mind you, I'm like an 18, 19-year-old. I'm like, what the fuck is a mood board, bro? I'm like, so I just started like, I asked my mom, I called my mom.
That's Jordan's Jim Jones moment, isn't it? Make a PDF. What the fuck's a PDF?
I'm like, mama, what's a mood board? She's like, just put together words that you like, pictures that you like, and print some stuff out. So I printed out a bunch of like anime shit, like a bunch of manga shit, and I pulled up to this house in Silver Lake with this bag of a bunch of different stuff. Drove my mom's Prius from Irvine, which is this college that I went to like LA, which is like an hour drive. Yeah. And I'm like sitting up in this house. I pull up and Virgil's just standing there on like a balcony, and I'm just like, damn, this motherfucker's tall. Like I'm like, damn, bro is hella tall. And he just sitting here. Cameras are set up everywhere, and they're like, yo, you guys are gonna sit down and you guys are gonna have a conversation. Bring some of your, I hope you guys have some of your favorite pieces, and we're just gonna talk about your brand. Virgil and I sat down, bro. He let me, we talked for maybe like 3 hours. Wow. After that, he kind of helped me like little bits in and out afterwards, but we talked for like 3 hours, and he like just honestly broke down my brand, broke down every single thought process, and it made me realize how smart he was, not just as a creative, but as a business person also too. And he just really, for me, bro, at that time, like he just kind of put in perspective what like streetwear was really about. You know what I'm saying? It's like at the time I remember I came in a room, bro, and I was like, the shit that sat with me the most, bro, a couple of things. It's like, first thing, it was like, I had this varsity jacket that we had made China. I thought it was so nice. I had just switched from making shit in Pakistan to China. Look, if you made clothes back in the day or make clothes now, bro, you know that like everybody starts off making shit in Pakistan before they go to China, because Pakistan is dumb cheap. There was no like Alibaba crazy. That shit was crazy. So like, we sat down, and I remember he picked up the jacket. He was like, wow, this is a nice jacket. He was like, but you said quality. He was like, I have an Hermes jacket that has a button that costs more than this entire jacket. He was like, I'm like, yo, bro. He was like, look, he's like, don't describe, he's like, in streetwear, he's like, the quality doesn't matter. He was like, it's not about quality, it's about community. And what he said was like, your brand is a representation for the culture that you represent. It's a uniform. It's not about quality, it's about good design, it's about community, and it's about the impact that someone has when they wear your stuff. So he's like, when somebody wears a shirt of yours, they should be able to immediately see this brand is about that. And he was saying that the best, and he was telling me also too, he was like, yo, you have a lot of ideas, you're very creative, you could make like 7 or 8 different brands, but he was like, the best brands have like one central focus. He was like, think about brands like North Face. North Face is all about outdoor shit, down to the name. He was saying that like, he was like, for you, he's like, you want to pick like one central idea when you're making a good brand. So he was the one who told me to focus on anime. He was like, you could do military stuff. He was like, I think the flag stuff is hella strong, and that's what we were doing hella deep at the time. And he was like, I think the anime stuff is strong. He's like, if you do anime, he was like, you should be looking at like, if you like Naruto, like why are you not taking the colors that are inspired by the characters' uniforms and making a jacket that's inspired by that and giving to that community, so when people see that, they know exactly what you're talking about. And of course, I'm like a young kid. I'm just like, like just not understanding stuff, but it just was like, it was a crazy ass just conversation. He really like put in perspective. He also told me to change the brand name, or he told me to make a new brand later in life, because he was like,
smart idea.
When you get older, he was like, he's like, HYPLAND, he's like, it doesn't mean anything. He was like, when you get older, he's like, just like I switched from Pyrex to Off-White, he's like, I can't be the 50-year-old dude making cookware, a brand based on cookware. He's like, I need the graduation brand. So he was like, when you get older, he's like, you're gonna make yourself a graduation brand, but you gotta focus on all these different things. But yeah, man, dude, Virgil was the GOAT, bro. Had it not been for the fact that like I met him, bro, I probably wouldn't even be as concise of a brand as I have now, bro. We wouldn't have.
Honestly, that fills my heart with so much joy that I played some small role in this kid becoming a fucking huge sensation in streetwear. Don't get me wrong, he was always destined to be great. You know, the reason why we kind of handpicked him to be a part of, fucking Streetwear Masters, was because of how good he was kind of doing things at that particular time, you know, on his own, 18, out of his fucking, you know, apartment. But once he got on the course, once he had access to that information, once he had that sit down with Virgil, which a lot of people would probably had that kind of impromptu kind of, you know, meeting with somebody that's kind of give them a consultation about certain things, and it hasn't really amounted to much. He actually took it and ran with it in a big fucking way. But one thing I'm really happy about is the job that I had at that time. I think my official title was like head of like, what was it? Content marketing? It was a weird title. They gave me like a content marketing title, but essentially I was working in marketing, whatever. But essentially I was in charge with co-producing or kind of offering the curriculum for the students, which is fucking funny, right? Me, somebody that hasn't got any teaching qualifications, putting together a curriculum. It's really handy that I did it with Dariush. Dariush joined at that time. Big up fucking Dariush. At that time, Dariush was really well known in fashion for doing a lot of commentary stuff for Show Studio back in the day. I'm sure he's still around doing bits and bobs as well. Very, very, very knowledgeable guy. And he was a really good person to kind of bounce ideas off and work with, because he had that academic mind. And he also was very kind of clued on with fashion and shit. But he was also open, because remember back then, Virgil wasn't as beloved as he is now in the wake of his passing. But back then in fashion, people were a little bit dubious. They were a little bit about Virgil. So I did like the fact that Dariush, although he wasn't all the way glazing of Virgil, he was open to the idea of this guy kind of doing something in fashion, being somewhat influential. And also he was kind of a person too, which is not really usual. He was a fashion person that didn't look down on streetwear, because there's a lot of fashion people who look down on streetwear and think streetwear is kind of beneath fashion. It doesn't really matter. It's fucking, you know, it doesn't really have any meaning behind it. It's kind of fly by night. It's a bit rough around the edges. Some people, especially the Caucasian ones, they look at streetwear and they use it as a dog whistle to kind of say they don't want any black people or any non-whites. It's a bit weird. But Dariush was a fucking legend, a real fucking gent. So it was really easy to kind of work with him and bounce ideas off and kind of get to a point where we put the curriculum together that obviously in general helped all these fucking brands. But I was really happy and I was really inspired and really happy that I got that job, because that job for me came at the right time, because I was a bit lost then, I think, career-wise, because when I first got into the scene, like any streetwear kid, I was obsessed with brands. I wanted to have my own brand. I kind of first got, I think my first introduction to streetwear brands had to have been like LA brands, right? Like the Hundreds and Diamond Co Supply. Then I got into all the Japanese brands like Bape and stuff, and Undercover and Good Enough and all these other bits and bobs. And I got me into that Harajuku scene. Then I found out about Supreme and all this other shit, right? And I was obsessed with that shit. And I really wanted to have my own brand. But then over time, I also wanted to work in these stores. I wanted just to be, I just wanted to be in the middle of everything. And I think around that time too, or before then, I was working at Hypebeast for a bit. I'm not sure if people remember that, but I used to be an editor on Hypebeast for a bit as well. Back in the day when Hypebeast's website was literally a blog spot. I'm pretty sure it was a fucking blog spot, and we got paid $50 each. We got paid $50 per article via fucking PayPal. I'm pretty sure my PayPal address back in those days was like, what was it, like Zynga 101 or something like that, right? Zynga 101, like that kind of fucking email, right? Back in the day. I remember doing all that. Big up fucking Kevin Ma. Kind of speaking to him directly when he was fucking founding that fucking place. And look at Hypebeast now, by the way, right? I remember when I was used to write for Hypebeast, and I'd contact certain brands about doing like features or interviews, and they would fucking turn me away. They would kind of turn their nose up on me, specifically Slam City Skates. I remember going to Slam City Skates and trying to have an interview with them about the skate store and shit to feature on fucking Hypebeast, and they were really, really real cunts about it. Don't get me wrong, skateboarding people are usually, you know, they usually like to vibe you out. But I remember how fucking, you know, against Hypebeast a lot of these brands were, because of the name as well. The name Hypebeast as well itself is a fucking derogatory term. It's a bit of a slur. You don't really want to be referred to as a Hypebeast. You shouldn't be proud to be a Hypebeast. So there's a bit of a play on that fucking particular term. But over time they legitimized themselves, and now look at them 20 years in and they're making t-shirts for fucking Supreme and shit. Fucking phenomenal work. So I remember doing all that shit, working for fucking Hypebeast, not really having a brand, not really having a voice, but just kind of waiting to be around. But then I also remember at that time, that was the time when I was kind of got aware of, and I was familiar with the Nike marketing or the Nike energy marketing roles. That's when I became aware of it. And I think I became aware of it in particular. How did I become aware of it? I don't know. Just because of queuing up for sneakers, I think I got aware of the Nike energy marketing role just for queuing up for sneakers. Big up fucking Wes from Foot Patrol and shit, and just knowing all that kind of law. And obviously at that time too, when I used to kind of be around the Steen, I'm not too sure if the office is still there, but Nike used to have an office in central London, which is a couple of roads parallel to Foot Patrol. I'm not too sure what that street is. It's not Dean Street, but there's a street near like Tottenham Court Road where Nike have a head office at. And I remember going in there for an interview. I think I actually found a fucking old USB that had the slides that I put together so I could be a sales assistant, quote unquote, brand ambassador for Nike at the 1948 store. I'm pretty sure I got it somewhere, like the thing I went through to kind of present myself to get that fucking job. Fucking hilarious, right? But regardless, I wanted to be involved, and I didn't really know how to get involved in that kind of particular role, because those Nike roles were a little bit hard to get a hold of. You couldn't necessarily always apply for them online. They kind of felt like you had to kind of be brought in by somebody, blah, 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 blah. Eventually, out of the blue, I think what happened was that I stumbled across Mastered. Like, I found out about the brand, about the company, about the startup Mastered. And then I just figured out, I don't know why, something told me. At that time, I was obsessed with Virgil. I was following a lot of stuff on streetwear. I was trying to get involved. And something just told me, apply, because I think they're going to get Virgil on board. And it wasn't news. No one knew Virgil was going to be on the course yet. And I don't think they even announced the streetwear course. I think I just applied for like a general inquiry kind of role, which I also encourage people to do. If you want to get in on places, be very, go into things with intention, right? And contact these places and say, hey, I'm interested in having a job. I want to have a job. I want to work for your company. I think your company's cool. How can I get involved? And that's essentially what I did. I just reached out for a general job, general inquiry. They go back in touch with me and said, yeah, funny enough, you reached out. You got great experience for a course we're about to launch. And that's when they told me in the email Virgil's going to join. Legit. I didn't have any idea. It wasn't on the fucking press, anything. I joined, and then a couple weeks later, the fucking announcement pops out that Virgil's going to be the head of the streetwear program. And at that time too, there was a lot of negativity around it. A lot of people were, you know, not really happy that Virgil was doing the head of the streetwear course. I love Bobby Hundreds, but I'm pretty sure Bobby Hundreds was one of the people who wasn't that fucking proud or wasn't that happy that Virgil was leading that course at that time. Because I think I reached out to him to try and get him to be one of the tutors, but he wasn't down. I don't think he wanted to be like under Virgil position-wise, which I understand. I get the Hundreds was a big brand at that time, But I do remember a lot of people not being that happy that Virgil was the head tutor, head curator. But he also, give Virgil fucking credit. I'm pretty sure in the beginning, Mustard wanted Virgil to run the whole course. But Virgil was the one that said, nah, I'm going to be the figurehead, but I want it to be like other people involved too. And that's why I came in with kind of getting all the people in place. You know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure Mustard wanted Virgil to be the number one person. And then, of course, once I got the job, like, it was legitimately one of the hardest and one of the best jobs I ever had. I probably made the most money I made. I got to travel. I had a company card. I got to meet all my quote-unquote heroes in streetwear and fashion and shit. People I looked up to and stuff. And I got to be involved. I got to be in and amongst the stuff that I was kind of really obsessed with. I went to my first fashion show ever off the back of that master job and shit. When I went to go see the Off-White show in Paris that Virgil put me on the list for last minute. That same fashion show where Ian Connor kind of runs down the runway with holding Virgil's hand. I was standing right there on the side of the wall. Like if somebody had a picture where you could see like the runway right from the back of the models, I was standing onto the left like of the wall. Literally, I was standing right there. And I fucking had a blast. I went to the after parties. I got to meet fucking Fraser Cook. Had a good conversation with him in the after, a little bit of a conversation with him. I think that was the time that I also bumped into Kiko, and I kind of felt like he was a bit of a cunt, so I didn't really talk to him too much. And ever since then, I've not really been vibed with the guy. He came across a little bit smart, a little bit. He had that London thing about, what, people in London who are into fashion. If you know, right? People who are into London, who are into fashion, apart from Fashion Roadman, right? Most people who are into fashion in London are fucking assholes. And Kiko had a bit of that arsehole energy about him. But again, it is what it is. At that time, he was still popping, doing his thing, building, growing. So I get the fucking gas. But I just like being around. I mean, I was just around it all. But one of the bittersweet things about being around it all is I did realize at that time, oh shit, this isn't what I want. I thought it was what I wanted. I remember I put together this panel discussion in Berlin. Like, I booked all the guests, did all the fucking audio shit, arranged all the chairs and shit. This fucking great little panel discussion. I forgot who I booked for it. Anyway, I forgot. It was a fucking panel discussion in fucking Berlin. That went fucking great. Big up Matt, big up Stu as well, who helped out, who were integral parts of that program too. But I remember putting all that shit together and not really feeling fulfilled, Going to New York several times in a year, LA, going to Paris, going all around the world, getting fucking driven around in fucking, black cabs and shit. And then afterwards, I just felt like, what? This is similar to what I would feel or what it would be like being a part of working in that Nike energy marketing role. But then I remembered when I first got into it, I kind of got into it because I looked up to the likes of James Jebbia. I looked up to the likes of Skate Thing. I looked up to the likes of John Takahashi. I looked up to the likes of Hiroshi Fujiwara, right? I looked up to the likes of fucking Chris Gibbs, all these people, right? Who started these amazing brands, these amazing stores, Aaron Bondaroff. And I wanted to be those guys. And I knew, oh shit, having seen these guys in person, having shook their hands, having been around them, they're no different to you and I. They bleed like you and I bleed. So I thought if they can do it, I can do it too. But I wasn't happy just being like the industry person. That's a good role to have. Industry person where you're kind of involved, but you're not. So it was a bittersweet job because it made it kind of, I had that opportunity to work in that fucking sick role, but it also kind of showed me very quickly that this is not the role that I wanted. But I'm thankful I did have it. I'm thankful that I got that job when I got that job at Mustard and I was in charge of putting together that streetwear fucking program with Dariush, because if I never had that job, I think now I wouldn't have this channel. I think now I wouldn't be trying to pursue doing my own thing. I wouldn't be trying to DJ. I wouldn't be trying to launch this, because I'd be trying to get that fucking Nike energy marketing role. That would be my fucking North Star. That'd be everything to me. But I think because I had a taste of it, I had a little bit of a taste of what it is to be like the head marketing cool guy job, I didn't really want it too tough. And then as well, the people that had it prior to me, they didn't really sell it too well. When I was speaking to A-Side, he left at that time. I think he didn't stay too long and he bounced and did his own thing. That was a bit fishy. Like, oh, why are you leaving? And then after that, this guy called Runner Joy, I think, took it. Or he was I think it was Runner Joy and then Sharmadine, right? But anyway, the people that took the Nike team marketing job, I remember the only person that was cool, that I thought was nice, was Heron Preston, who I met briefly when I went to New York that time, actually, who I used to also kind of be obsessed with back in the day. I used to follow his blog and try to kind of copy his fucking template of his website that he had together and try to do my own thing that he was trying to do in New York, over here in London as well. But I felt like everybody that got that job were arseholes, Like, and again, it's not their fault. Like, Runner Joy, these people, big up Runner Joy, big up Sharmadine, the lady that set up War Nails, but they had a particular type of attitude, you know, that I didn't necessarily like. I think maybe the job does that to you. Maybe the scene does that to you. Don't get me wrong, Sharmadene's super accomplished businesswoman. So, you know, maybe the gas and the fucking attitude kind of come from accomplishing really amazing things. But I just didn't want to be that person. I also wanted to create things. I just want to be like somebody taking credit for like seeding shoes to fucking Dave and shit. Like, I'm all right. So I was kind of in a weird place. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of depressed about it in a way, because again, it was something that I really wanted for a long time. And then you finally get that job that puts you at the epicenter of culture. You're amongst everything that you know and love. You've got the stamp. Your people are like smiling when you walk into a room. They're fucking trying to lick your ass. They're giving you guest list. You get invited to all these things. Da, 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 da. But then soon after, I realized this is all fluff. This is all GAY. It's all nonsense, you know? And then I eventually ended up leaving and doing my own thing. But I'm happy I got a taste of it. I'm happy I got a taste of it. I'm so grateful I got a taste of it, because I know if I never got a taste of it, I would have been pining to get another fucking job doing the Nike Energy marketing. Actually, I think if I'm mistaken, fuck, I forgot about that. Actually, I think after that, after I finished that mastered, I think I was last in line. Yeah, I think I was in the final two or few to get the job. I forgot the guy that got the job. I forgot his name. Big up the guy that got that job. I forgot his name. A black guy in the scene back in the day. BNTO crew member as well. Extended family. I forgot his fucking name. But I remember back in the day, I actually interviewed for the Adidas job. That was a similar to the Nike Energy marketing influencer type thing. I forgot what the name of it. Maybe it was an influencer marketing. I forgot what the role was. But I actually interviewed for it, and I got down to the last couple, and then I fucking flopped, I think. Because I didn't do, there was a presentation you're meant to do, and I just didn't bother doing it right. I kind of did like a palace thing that was kind of half-baked and not really well thought out. It wasn't really original. It was really, really shit. It wasn't good. I feel I got down to the final two. I'm pretty sure I was down to the final two for that Adidas job, and I just fluffed it with the presentation. My presentation was terrible, and I think it was at the time I did the I think I did the Adidas. I think I did like a Palace presentation, because at that time, do you remember when Palace did that Adidas shoe? The Adidas shoe that was really fucking sick. I think one of the first shoes that they did collaboration. It was hard. And I think it was the one that for a long time Ian Connor was like wearing every fucking day. It was like I forgot what the model was. It was like a black and white model. So I remember I did like a whole presentation around an activation of like a skate, like a space that could be modular and turned into a skate thing. Like it was really basic NPC. Like it was shit. It was fucking shit. And I didn't get the job at the time. And I think that was the best thing, because I think from then I went on to work in startups, which then I was really happy about, because I remember working in startups. That's when I got a real big salary bump. Because working in fashion, working in streetwear, working in cool jobs usually doesn't pay well, unless you're like the top person or you're the owner. It doesn't really pay that well. So I remember in those type of roles, I was getting paid like, I don't know, 25 grand, 23, 22. But then I was living at home. You know what I mean? Living at home, doing those type of jobs, you're fucking laughing. But then I remember when I got my first kind of like startup job, working for, I think maybe Depop. Was it? Yeah, I think Depop. I think I was working at Depop at that time. I worked at Depop at that time. And that was when I got my proper like salary. I mean like 26, 27. I was like, oh shit, this is a good, and you got benefits, there's career progression, you have company days away, you have fucking company beers, you have pizza days and shit, all this fucking cool shit that you never usually get working for fucking cool brands. And then of course that also allowed me to kind of have that fucking, go down that route of like, which I also will encourage people to do, try and get a regular job and then put that money into your dreams. Put that money into your fucking side hustles. I'm always gonna preach that. I think one of my good friends, Natalia, big up Natalia and Vlad and their gorgeous little family, but Natalia is very against it. Like her kind of idea is to kind of work for a certain amount of time, 6 months, whatever, 8 months, save up that money, and then use that money to kind of try and make your dreams full time. And if it doesn't work out, go back to get another job, temporary, 6 months, stack up the money, then go for it again. Me personally, I prefer to just have a real 9 to 5, a real normal job, feed that money into my arts, and then if the arts take off, then you can quit your job. And I personally think that's better, especially if you're someone like me that's got, you know, expensive taste and you like nice things, you like shoes, you like clothes and shit. I think it's cool to be able to have the money to be able to afford that sort of stuff. And sometimes it's a tricky position, to be fair, because a lot of these cool jobs, if you work in a cool job in the fashion industry, whatever, streetwear, creative industry, you have access to stuff, right? So you might have access to, like, I don't know, sales. You might have discounts. You might work for a clothing brand itself, right? Like, you know, Dr. Martens or whatever that makes shoes and clothing. So you get access to stuff for free, uniform, so it can afford you to buy this stuff. It can afford you to have this stuff without spending money. But then they'll usually won't pay that much. You know? So you get the freebies, but you don't get paid that much. So I'm not really into that sort of stuff. So I prefer to get the money and then put the stuff into the stuff that I want to do. But yeah, man, honestly, I really love it. It was really a good fun, really a good time. And I'm happy to see where fucking Jordan Bentley has kind of ended up. And it's cool to hear his perspective on it from the outside, because so much work went into fucking putting that course together, man. So many sleepless nights, so many fucking all-nighters. That was probably the one and only job that I did where I was happy to stay overnight. Happy to stay late in the night to put the course together, finishing touches, answering emails, doing shoots, going over ideas. It was really stressful too, because I think that was the first company I worked in where they had like a flat hierarchy. Everybody had an equal voice, which made for super long fucking meetings. The meetings would go on for fucking hours because there was, you know, the final word was a room, you know? But yeah, really fucking cool job, and I really enjoyed it, but I'm really happy that I had it. Bittersweet, again, like I said. Happy that I had it. Depressed when I kind of got it, but then happy that I had a taste of it, because if I didn't have a taste of it, I definitely would be pining for those influencer marketing head jobs now, which are really just, you know, it's all ego and whatever. They don't really do nothing, to be honest. They don't really do much, in my personal opinion. But again, what do I know? And again, what do I know? Big up Jordan Bentley. Big up blood clot Jordan Bentley. Talking about old times, look at this, bro. Hypebeast 20th anniversary, a spotlight to our latest releases for the community. Bro, Hypebeast are having a 20th anniversary celebration, and they're putting together these fucking cool t-shirts and capsule collections for people to buy, spotlighting brands and founders. Carl Eng, I booked him as well for the mastered fucking course over there on Streetwear Master. Spoke to him, fucking great guy. Yeah, look at all these people, bro. Sorayama, what you call it? Is it Errolson from fucking Acronym? The Ambush lady is a bit shit, but it is what it is. Takashi Murakami, Hiroshi Fujiwara, what's his fucking name? Futura. Like, fucking amazing, honestly. And like I said before, when I used to work for Hypebeast, when I used to be an editor on that site, getting $50 per fucking article, I had my little Hypebeast business cards I'd hand out and shit. It didn't even have my fucking name on it, right? I just had these fucking business cards that I'm pretty sure Kevin Ma or the other guy, I forgot his fucking name. Is it Eugene? I think it was Eugene. It was either Kevin Ma sent me it or the other guy called Eugene, who was like Kevin Ma's second in command over that Hypebeast. I'm not sure if they're even still there. I don't know if they're even still there, but I remember Kevin Ma, the founder, and a guy called Eugene, I think, who I spoke to as well, who was kind of, I think, the one that sent me the fucking business cards. Honestly, man, what a fun time, man. I fucking loved it. I honestly loved it. But big up Hypebeast, actually. Look at the t-shirts too. Again, a credit to Everlasting Power, Everlasting State. And I think this is another part of that industry that's really important too. If you just hang around long enough, and you're a good egg and you're a good hang, and you don't do dirty business and you're not a creepazoid and shit, and you just survive, yeah, you just kind of hang on and never go away, it works out. Because honestly, I remember there was a time when I was working at Hypebeast where I was getting turned away from brands. Maybe partly it was due to me being who I am, who knows? But I think a lot of that to do with people just not fucking with the brand, thinking, nah, fuck Hypebeast, I don't want to be on there, that's some shit, too cool for... And it was also, to be fair, the era I came up in, everybody was a bit too cool for school. No one really wanted promo. Everyone kind of pretended they didn't want you want promo. They didn't really want to advertise. I mean, they didn't want to advertise what they're doing. It's kind of like, if you know, you know. Like that brand Nom de Guerre from New York, right? That legendary streetwear brand. I think, what's his face from Awake was involved in back in the day. Not really wanting to be like bait, you know, kind of keeping it underground, kind of like being selective about who buys it, not letting people touch the t-shirt, Supreme style, like fucking hilarious. But now look, they've got official collaborations with Hypebeast, bro. Official collaborations with Hypebeast. That's a fucking beautiful t-shirt, by the way. By the way, beautiful, beautiful t-shirt. What else collaborations? Who else do they have here? Let's see. What else do they have here? What else do I like to look at? I think there's one that's like £2,000, isn't it? There's a Virgil Abloh one too that I'm also mad about. This one. This was a fucking, I think this is in collaboration with Virgil Abloh Archives. You actually fell in love with an image. Fucking beautiful t-shirt. I think it's one of those ones that he wore back in the day that was never actually made it into production. Fucking love it. I fucking love it. Fucking love it. But yeah, look at all the t-shirts, man. Absolutely incredible to see how everything came back around. Anti-Social Club t-shirt there. There's Huff there. There probably should be hundreds. I think hundreds should be a part of this personally. Neighborhood's a part of it too. Acronym I think's a part of it. I think the hundreds should have been a part of it. Braindead's on there. Fucking great to fucking see, man. Honestly, I fucking love it. Big up fucking Hypebeast. Big up fucking Hypebeast. What a time to be alive. Here's a video of the exhibition, right? They got, or the collection they're putting on. Let's actually check this out. Big up them. Is that music then? It's t-shirt time. T-shirts will be available to purchase at NYC from October 23rd to 27th, as well on HBX.com. Okay, so you can buy it online too. They're probably going to be sold out by now, I'd imagine. But they're fucking gorgeous, isn't it? Let me see. Are they actually available? I bet they're probably going to be sold out. There's no way this stuff is going to be still available, right? Hold on, let me see. It's there, right? That's a link. Let's see here, website. Let's see what they got, what they have available. Actually, I want to see how much they are. I think they're all probably. Oh no, that's not wrong one. I think they're probably all sold out. I'd imagine, no. Okay, not that. Show me, man. Where is it? Was it HBX? Is it HBX, right? Let's see. HBX block. Let's see new arrivals. Let's see what's available. Can we see it now? Or isn't it all there? Where is it? You can't purchase any of it. Why can't you purchase any of it? Let's go back to the article. Is it on? There's a link on there to buy anything. Where is it? The whole capsule is officially live. There you go. Officially live. Let's check it out. HB20. Hypebeast 20. Let's see. I want to see which ones are sold out. I'd imagine the bait ones are sold out, like Supreme and shit. You know, it's fairly obvious, but let's just check them out anyway and see which ones are sold out in the whole collection. Oof. Look at all the ones. Undercover, is that gone? Can't you, but where's the fucking, why is it so hard to, it feels like Splay designed this. Remember Splay back in the day? It feels like Splay may have designed some of this stuff. I swear to God. I feel like Splay might have designed some of this shit because Jesus Christ. Futura, is it, can you buy any of this stuff, or am I just bugging? Swipe. Okay, cool. Let me actually look through the t-shirts. I actually want to see which ones they are. Undercover. I remember that logo actually, the burger with the eyes. That's pretty cool. Is that Takashi Murakami with flowers in the back? I really like that design. The Hypebeast logo, obviously. The Bape one's really amazing. A bathing ape logo with the Bape head and Hypebeast arch over the top with Bape at the bottom. It's fucking great. I would have preferred it if they had a 20 on the back, like, you know, like the Nowhere Store, the undercover collaboration, right? Imagine if they had 20 on the back. That'd been fucking sick as an anniversary thing. There's a fragment design. Big up Hiroshi Fujiwara. This is Sorayama design. Brain Dead, Cause, Futura Laboratories, Futura's brand, Neighborhood. That Neighborhood t-shirt's fucking great, by the way. Hypebeast Neighborhood. Oof. Very simple, very to the point, straight on it. Love it. Black and white text, can't go wrong with that one. What's that? Post Archive. Proletarat. I think this is the one that's like 20 grand. I think that's the one that's like, it's made to order. I think crazy detail and stuff regarding it. I think I saw an up close image of it the other day. Big up R.I.P. Keith Huffenagel. There's also one for Virgil Abloh Archives, which is one of my favorites actually. This is the one I probably would want the most. There's a Pata one too that's fucking great. Oh, I love how they did the 20 there. Interesting way they did the 20 there graphically, innit? Like you can't really see the outline of even number, but you can kind of still see it. I quite like how they blocked it out there. That's pretty cool. Verdi's there too. Ambush, not really a cane on that one. This is, what's that called? This is G Dragon's brand, right? I forgot what the name of it is. Supreme. There's a official Supreme and Hypebeast collaboration t-shirt. That's fucking incredible, man. Honestly, they all like, this is fucking incredible. There was probably a time when Supreme was probably requesting some of their pictures to be taken down from Hypebeast. Now all of a sudden they're collaborating officially with them. Fucking incredible. Big up Acronym as well, and Anti-Social Club, of course. You know, big up Neek. This is, you know what I mean, like that. He's part of Hypebeast fucking history too. Neek being an OG Nike Talk fucking forum poster and shit, being all about the internets and shit. Yeah, that makes complete sense. Antisocial Hypebeast Club is fucking great. I fucking love that. Fucking love that. Although that font looks a bit weird there, the Hypebeast font, but still, love it. I'm not too sure why it's not available to purchase though. Why can't you just buy any of this stuff? I don't know why you can't just buy it. I'm not gonna lie, man. Don't know why you can't really buy it still. But we love it anyway. We got any other videos and images from the Hypebeast 20 there? We got more stuff here, more t-shirts available. Click link in bio to shop now. Love it. Let's look at the stories. Anything we can see there about what went down at the event? Oh yeah, look, sick. There's some things about what went down at the event. Let's check that out. Actually, I'm curious to see that. What went down at the event? What went down at the event? Celebrating Hypebeast's 20th anniversary in New York City. Big exhibition space. I'm assuming original screen grabs of like what the website used to look like back in the day. I think I probably still got some too. I probably still got the business cards somewhere too. I probably still have a picture of the business cards that I used to use when I used to work at Hypebeast back in the day. And I might still even have a screenshot of the email, my email as well. My official kind of Hypebeast email, I'm pretty sure. But the forums are goated back in the day. Hypebeast forums are great time to be alive. Crooked Tongues forums, great time to be alive. FUK forums, great time to be alive. Fuck Fifth Dimension. Sidewalk forum, great time to be alive. Super Future forum, great time to be alive. What you call it? What's that? Is it menswear fashion? I've got there's a menswear one that's fucking great, quite sick too. Great time to be alive, man. Honestly, forum culture for streetwear, menswear fashion was the greatest. Better than what it is now. Honestly, I used to live for this shit, man. I used to live for this shit. Going to like big wide spaces, warehouse spaces, creative spaces, having t-shirts hung on the wall, art pieces, some shitty drink sponsor, maybe some food. Towards the end, like food companies had to pop up and shit, offering you, I don't know, cheesy popcorn and whatever burrito thing they were fucking doing. I used to love this shit. This was my life. Working retail. And then after you finish your shift at retail, going to one of these activations, one of these fucking launches, usually on the Wednesday or Thursday, getting fucking fucked up on the free booze, hanging out, taking pictures of your friends on your SLR camera, uploading them onto your Flickr, onto your blog, or onto your Instagram, and just doing it again and documenting, writing up how it was, like writing a little review. You'd write a little, you know, on-site kind of review of what went down, who you saw. Like, honestly, I'm kind of taking inspiration from what Bobby Hundred used to do on his site. I fucking love this shit. This was my life. I loved it so much. And it was so good at that time. Nowadays, I wouldn't be seen dead. And that's the thing, it's not cool. I think it was cool at that time to be going to these type of things. But I think, you know, me being adverse to nostalgia and kind of really wanted to always do the new, cooler thing going forward, I'd never go to one now. But back in the day, these were so important. The friendships that were made, you know, the relationships that were made, the brotherhoods that were made, the conversations that were had, the ideas, the inspiration, motivation. Fucking great. I fucking loved it. It's actually kind of nice to see it's still alive. Oh, look, and they've got, yeah, this is the old site. How the old site used to look. Fucking hell, I love that. Look, let's have the whole old site used to look back in the day. Oh, man. What a time. I remember that old banner too. What a great time to be alive, bro. Good budget behind the bar too. Good budget. Fucking endless pouring of the... And honestly, one of these events were the best thing because you always befriend the bartenders. Always befriend the bartender and security. Because at the end, me and my guys always be at the end, staying there. We'd always get the last bottles. They'd always give us whatever was left over because usually companies would just, you know, sign off on how many bottles they were sending over, Moe, beer, whatever it was. And if you hung around and you were cool and you were chill and they liked you and stuff, then you just give you whatever was left over, you know? kind of a bit ratty, kind of a bit bummy behavior, but still, when you were fucking working a job that was paying you like, I don't know, £1,000 a month or £900 a month, and your rent was 600, you had to make it happen. You had to make it work. And that's a really funny thing. Back then I was going out way more often. I had less money. I had less money. I barely had money to live, right? Barely had money to live for the month, but somehow was going to every fucking motive, every fucking event, every fucking shindig, every after party, every this, every that. And mostly because of the free drinks and shit I'd get from these events. You'd get absolutely, you know, tore up on, you know, pre-drink on all the fucking free booze, and then hit all the other clubs, hit the other places and shit. It was such a fun vibe, honestly. It kind of boggles the mind how work was done back in those days. How people actually got work done that worked for those brands, because it felt like every week, every day was a booze up. Like, I always remember, and I always remember, because I remember this was the time I did it when I went to Berlin I went to Berlin for Master, actually. Fucking hell, what a good job I had, man. I went to Berlin for Master during Berlin Fashion Week, which I think is usually around January, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It was cold anyway. Whenever Berlin Fashion Week is, that's when I went over there. I went to Berlin for Berlin Fashion Week, but I think at the time that I went, it was cold, and it was also the time that I was doing Sober October or Dry January, something like that, right? And also I wanted to test myself, right? Because I like to, you know, give myself a little bit of a challenge. It's like, yeah, I love the city, I love to get fucked up here, but I'm going to go there and just be sober. And obviously it's the worst time to go there, because I think that was the time when Adidas first launched the NMD. Remember the NMD? The Adidas NMD with the fucking red and blue fucking plasticky black white thing, the sock kind of shoe. Really nice, right? Really comfy. Kind of had a moment in streetwear for a time. I had a moment in sneakers. And they did a launch activation for the NMD in Berlin in some really cool space that kind of had these glass panels that were like all different colors. And I'm pretty sure they had Kano as the MC. Kano was a musical act. Because I think Kano at that time, I'm not sure if he's still sponsored by Adidas now, but Kano was sponsored by Adidas back then. But Jesus Christ, the bar. They had Heineken as a drink sponsor, right? Adidas had Heineken as a drink sponsor. And I swear to God, in this space, that, like, imagine this sort of space, they had a wall with a fridge that I've never seen ever before in my life, and never seen it again. They had a fridge that was floor to ceiling high. And it was a fridge just full of Heineken. It almost looked like a, you know, like the case they put like artwork in? That's how that fridge looked. You could just open it and take a beer. Literally floor to ceiling. And then across, you know, across from there, there's an actual bar where if you wanted to get an actual like mixer drink, you could get one. Which usually doesn't happen. Usually in these type of events, they usually have like one drink sponsor. Like an alcohol sponsor and a fucking soft drink sponsor. But they had two. They had whatever Heineken, they had Heineken and whatever conglomerate Heineken owns, they also had spirits. Crazy. People were getting lit. That was one of the times I was like so pissed off that I was doing that dry journey, because that was an amazing fucking activation. Probably you could never do it now because the money that it would cost is crazy. And if I'm not mistaken, they were giving away free NMDs too at this fucking influencer shindig as well. If you got free shoes, crazy amounts of money that was spent on that sort of stuff. Yeah, man, I love this shit, man. This was so fun back in the day, man. The little canapes. Woo! I used to be all up in the canapes. You know it as well. I used to be all up in those canapes, bro. Befriending the waitresses, the waiters and stuff to help. Making sure I get a fucking good little thing. They'll come back around to me because I know I like to eat. Hey! The DJs vibe too usually is always a friend of yours. Always somebody that you knew. So you get them to play some tracks that you liked as well. Go fucking crazy. Start jumping up and down. Causing a ruckus, being like, you know, being fucking bad boys, you know. I had to buy a Hypebeast magazine. I don't know if I've ever bought one, to be fair. I don't know, because they've got an actual print magazine too they put out. It's price fucking sick. Oh, look at those speakers. Wow. I love a good activation, man. I love a good activation. It was so fun back in the day. Yeah, random shit like this. think that might be Kevin Ma, you know. I'm not gonna lie. He looks a little bit similar to him. I think that might be Kevin Blood Clot Ma right there. I think that might be the head. I think that might be the head honcho, bro. General Ma. Big up General Ma. I think I'm the one that coined it, by the way. I'm pretty sure I coined the name General Ma. I'm not sure if anyone calls him that anymore. He probably doesn't like it, but I do remember we used to call him General Ma. Big up Kevin Ma, Hypebeast founder. There we go. Ah, fucking paper straws. Not in my day. Not in my day. No paper straws. Not in my fucking day. Wow, look at the patches for the varsity jacket. So cool. Wow. All the shoes. All the bits of clothing. What's that? Is that an Umbro top? Oh, Umbro tracksuit. Made for Hypebeast, something like that. Some interviews taking place. What? A Rolex? There's a Hypebeast. Oh, so it's Citizen. Oh, cool. Fair say. I thought it was a Hypebeast Rolly, but still, I like. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at it. There's a Hypebeast fucking watch coming out. Mad. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it. Hypebeast putting out product. Big up Hypebeast. More pictures of some t-shirts here. That Virgil t-shirt I need, by the way. I need that Virgil t-shirt. I need that Supreme t-shirt. I need that Hypebeast t-shirt. The Murakami one you can keep. Undercover. Outside vibes. So 26. Yeah, if you're out there, get out there if you're in New York, man. Honestly, get out there. If you're in New York, get out there and check it out, man. Undercover bag. Fuck, man. That looks good. That shit looks fucking good, man. Big up Hypebeast, man. Long live Hypebeast. Big up Hypebeast. Hypebeast forever. I really enjoyed my time there. Really fucking enjoyed my time there. What a time to be alive, man. Honestly. For it to go from a blog spot to what it is now, like, wow, man. Fucking, who would have known? Who would have known? Who would have fucking known? Big up fucking Hypebeast. Big up motherfucking Hype Beastie. You love to see it. You love to see it. Talking about things you love to see, let's talk a little bit about this clip. Do you guys remember this? I forgot to mention this, right? Big up Andrew from Channel 5. He spoke a little bit about his not so good experience trying to get into the comedy mothership green room, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of my experience in some club green rooms, and why I think in general you should try to avoid becoming a slave or becoming too drawn to the idea of being part of the in crowd to get into the green room, because they're inherently lame and the real vibes are on the dance floor. But listen to fucking this guy's expedition, this guy's ordeal in trying to get into the green room, and how fucking embarrassing and humiliating it was towards the end. I thought this is a really kind of cringy story, I'm not going to lie.
One user asks, why haven't you been on the Joe Rogan Experience? Well, there could be two reasons for that. One, which is probably most likely, is that I'm not popular, famous, and influential enough to be on JRE. Two, could be related to a little green room spat that I had with Mr. Joe Rogan at his comedy club in Austin, Texas. So I'm not even a Joe Rogan hater, and I thought the mothership was actually pretty tight, especially how they lock your phones up in these magnetically sealed plastic sleeves when you enter the door. It definitely brings the anxiety levels down and makes it so comedians can push the envelope a bit more with their material, so it keeps comedy and experimentation alive without the fear of cancel culture. I was in Austin doing a couple different podcasts. The first podcast was Lex Friedman, and then the following day after that I did the Matt and Shane Secret podcast. And unfortunately, Matt was out of town, but the homie Lemaire Lee, shout out to my boy, was there replacing Matt for that day. So that night after the podcast, Shane had a set at the Mothership Comedy Club. So he invited me, and in between sets, I'm chilling at the bar downstairs, and I'm getting like lightweight blown up by fans, which is fine. You know, I love fans. It was chill, but I was kind of like in a more relaxed headspace. I wanted to just doze off, you know, listen to comedy, chill. And so I told Lemaire, I'm like, yo, can I go upstairs to the green room? I'm trying to, you know, kick back and, you know, lay low for a bit. He's like, man, I could take you there, but just so you know, Joe Rogan's a bit territorial about that green room. Like, so it's at your own risk. And I'm like, dude, no way, it's gonna be fine. Joe Rogan's reacted to like 7 of my videos because Jamie always plays them, so I'm like, it's gonna be chill. So me and Lemaire take the elevator up to the secret green room at the mothership. There's 5 comedians in there, all in their mid-20s. Everybody recognizes me except for Joe Rogan. So everybody's dapping me up. Lemaire says, hey Joe, it's my homie Andrew. Shake Joe Rogan's hand. I put some popcorn in the microwave, which I felt like was establishing myself as a member of the green room. And then I turn around and I see Joe Rogan like yelling at the security guard. And he's yelling, who let this fucking journalist in here? Kick him the fuck out. I can hear Joe saying this. I guess somebody told him that I was like a journalist, so he maybe thought that I was a Daily Beast reporter that had snaked my way into his safe space to ask him about ivermectin, which is a valid concern. So before I could even get kicked out, I was like, Lemaire, I gotta get out of here. And I walked down the stairs and went back into general population. So that could be why. I'm not sure if Joe Rogan thinks I'm like an asshole.
So, number one issue that I have with this story is him inviting himself into the green room. If there's anything that I've learned over my years of raving, one of the things that you don't do, green room etiquette, is invite yourself into the green room. You don't invite yourself into the green room. You maybe can politely suggest it to somebody, maybe float the idea, maybe try and subtly implant it in somebody's head to be like, oh yeah, cool, you should come to the green room actually. But you don't invite yourself into the green room and say, hey, can I go into the green room to chill? You don't do that, because in general, nobody, like, it's kind of a weird thing. Nobody really wants you to be in there to chill. Nobody's meant to be in there to chill. It's meant to be for the artist and friends of the artist who may be performing, or maybe guests of the club, whatever it may be, to kind of come away from all the hustle and bustle of the club itself. But you really shouldn't be in there to chill, in actuality. So inviting yourself, first error. Then when he got into the green room, I don't know what world he lives in. Not sure if this is a white guy thing or something, but that popcorn move was insane. The popcorn move was paramount, or like equivalent to going to someone's house for the first time, bringing a Tupperware of food, and then when they invite you in, you immediately go to the kitchen and put the food into the microwave. You know? It's okay, it's permitted because you're in the house, you've been invited in, but it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit comfortable, you know? It's a little bit presumptuous. You probably shouldn't be doing that. So I think that microwave move, although in his head he thought that was a way for him to kind of get comfortable in his surroundings, to kind of maybe signal in a maybe subtle way that he was one of them, that he was chill, that he wasn't trying to, you know, document, he wasn't trying to report, he wasn't trying to be a narc or whatever it may be. But I think the popcorn move was super, super bizarre. Another move as well that I think is also important is, I don't think he should have been introduced to Rogan. I don't think he should have done that. I think he should have just been chill. I don't think when you go into a green room, you should go out of your way to make the person who brought you into the green room to intro you into the, yeah, if you get brought into the green room by a friend, you shouldn't then ask that friend to intro you, or to, you know, whatever, to the fucking owner of the club. Just get in there and just be quiet. Just be quiet. Be seen, not heard. Be seen, not heard. Just be quiet, be chill, and they will arise the opportunity, because it's a small space. Most green rooms aren't fucking big. They're called green rooms for a reason. There will come a point where you will cross paths with the owner and you'll have a bit of conversation and you can introduce yourself. But going out and introduce yourself once you walk in is a bad move, because then the owner notices you and sees that you're there. And they might not like that you're there now. They might be high off what they're on. They might just be paranoid in general. And then they might be like, oh shit, now you've made it known who you are. Get the fuck out. So I think that was also a bit of a wrong move. But in general, I think the whole push that people have nowadays to be in the green room is really lame, especially in nightclubs. Because I feel like most of those people really have this weird warped idea that the party is happening in a green room, and it's not. Most green rooms that I've been in, I've just been with people who are basically in there doing drugs. Or gossiping about seeing people and shit. And you could gossip about seeing people in the smoking area with far more interesting people, I think so, than industry peeps. And you could also do drugs in the fucking toilet or on the dance floor. You don't need to do them in the fucking room. Yes, I know it's a table and you can be chill and you could do it out in public and shit. You don't have to hide. But I don't think when I go to a club that I want to be sat in a chair in the back of a club somewhere in a fucking shitty room doing drugs with people who are already fucked up. I wouldn't really want to do that. I don't really think that makes any real sense, really. I think the party is always on the dance floor. I think that's where you should be, amongst the real people them, and you have a far better experience and time when you're in there. But the 2 times I actually went to a green room, very 2 interesting occasions. I went to a green room in Fold, I think a couple of times, and a green room in Fabric a couple of times too. The Fabric green room, I had a little plug. There was this guy in Fabric. I don't know how I knew him actually. How did I get to know him? Oh, I think I got to know him because one time I went to Fabric and I, you know, was fucking lit as fuck. And I think I bumped into this dude who wanted to bump. And I think I might have some ketamine or something on me or something. And I gave him whatever I had. And I think I didn't know at the time, but he was a DJ, a resident DJ at the club. And I think he even worked for Fabric. So he would always, like, if ever he saw me, he'd always give me a wristband. If I asked, hey, can I have a wristband? Yeah, cool. And he'd let me go in the green room. And that was pretty fun because, you know, Fabric is fucking a huge club. And, you know, even though it's not the greatest club in the world, they have fucking sick DJs. So it'd be kind of sick to see certain DJs in there, you know, getting up to certain things. Just to kind of see with my own eyes and shit. But it was a little bit weird, not gonna lie. Strange green room vibes because it's kind of big. The Fabric green room is kind of big for what it is. It's kind of like a, how do you describe it? It's kind of like a long rectangle shape, and then there's a bit towards the end that kind of connects to another office sort of space and a little storage room as well. So it's a kind of a big, and it's also got a toilet towards the back too. There's a toilet towards the back, like a kind of universal sort of like disabled toilets that you can kind of go into. That's kind of huge as well that people go into. So that was kind of a fun time. But again, a bit weird because again, it's a weird setup, and it's also got this strange seating position where you're kind of up high above these concrete plinths with a wooden bench. It's a strange green room, very, very strange green room. But the Fold one was really interesting because I think I might have been the person that was responsible for Fold having a stricter policy when it comes to the green room and having wristbands and shit. I think so. I'm not gonna lie. I think I might have been partially responsible for Fold changing how they do the green room, because back in the day when I used to first go to Fold, or when I first went to Fold when it first kind of opened, I don't really go that often anymore, but when I used to go all the fucking time, I was kind of friendly with the security guards, and there was one security guard, this African guy who used to always kind of be guarding that back bit. If you know Fold, that there used to be a back bit before the lockers were there. It used to be a back bit that there was nothing really there. I think there was maybe a cloakroom that you could actually put your physical cloakroom jacket in, but there was no lockers. And I think there was always a security guard that would be guarding that area. And I remember a couple of times I went in there, that African guy, uncle, would let me through and let me kind of get into the green room. And you know, I think like the first time I went a couple of times and shit. And if I'm not mistaken, one of the founders, what's his name? Not the one that I speak to. There's one that I'm cool with on Instagram and shit. I've kind of said hi to him when I'm in the club, and he seems kind of chill. But there's another one that I'm not really that, you know, I don't really speak to, or I don't necessarily. I won't say don't get along with him, but you know, he comes across a little bit, you know what I mean? So I don't really try and say nothing. He kind of seems a little bit one of the type of people, which is okay. Everyone's got their way of doing things, but I'm not, you know, I'm not like a licker, so I'm just gonna keep my distance and shit. But whoever they found, I forgot his fucking name. I think he's Georgian. I think that's the guy, right? But I'm pretty sure that one time I snuck into the Fold green room, and I was in there for a bit, and I think he came in after. And of course, he knew I wasn't meant to be in there, but I was already in there. And obviously, he's not gonna ask me to leave, right? You know what I mean? Doesn't want confrontation that way. Not in the back. You know what I mean? Doesn't want, you know, doesn't want to tell me to get the fuck up. So I think he just kind of like allowed me to be in there. But then I think the next couple of times I went in there, it got harder. And then the third time I tried to get in there, the uncle's like, "Nah, we've been told like no wristbands or nothing." Do you know what I mean? And then they got really militant with the green room. But I think in the beginning, if I'm not mistaken, I think the first actual time I went to that Fold green room, I slipped in where there was no security guard at the door. I think someone was changing a shift, and I just kind of slipped in at the time and just kind of sat down and was chill. And I forgot, I think I might have sat down and chilled. I think it was a time when, who was playing? Someone sick, like, was it D Dan? It might have been D Dan or someone like that. Someone sick back in the day that was in a green room, and I kind of was chilling. And they allowed you, I don't think they allow you now, but back in the day, if you're in a green room, there's a door that opens up so you can go into the DJ booth, kind of, in that area. and you could stand in the corner and dance there. But I'm not sure if they let you. I think they just want the whole DJ booth area to be kind of free. But yeah, you should stand there and kind of be raving and shit and doing your thing. So that was kind of funny. But I'm pretty sure after that time, I might have been responsible for how they changed the green room etiquette and the rules around who gets into the green room. But I definitely would say after being in there, being in the fabric green room and shit, it's not necessary. Like, you know, I'm not really somebody that cares about industry people anyway, to be honest. I'm not really industry bothered or friendly like that. I don't give a fuck. I want to be like a fan, an enthusiastic fan. And I think being an enthusiastic fan and a punter is way fun. And I've met way more interesting people who you kind of bump into in different raves across the years, across the different people, across different venues. So I much prefer that than being in the green room with the kind of, you know, important industry people and shit. Although it can be good if you want to do that sort of stuff. But I do recommend staying on the main dance floor, and building yourself up that way. And who knows, maybe there's an opportunity where if you stay on the main dance floor and you kind of, you know, make friends with the right people, you could actually get a proper bring into the green room, not like I did, where I kind of did it the fucking, you know, scammy way. You can actually get a proper invite into a Sky place. That's also possible. That's also entirely possible. But it was kind of oddly depressing, oddly dour, oddly kind of like, to kind of see so many people just like, fuck, off their heads, you know, in the green rooms. Just what they were doing, just sitting there trying to get absolutely, you know, mind fucking melting and shit. Like, that's all. Spending all that money or taking all that time to get ready and all that shit just to go and just sit down and have your mind melt. No, thank you, bro. I'd rather be dancing and raving on the dance floor. But again, what do I know? Absolutely nada. Talking about knowing nada. Definitely. Talking about knowing nada. Let's talk a little bit about this clip courtesy of Seth Troxler. Seth Troxler has got a new podcast out at the moment that's pretty interesting, where he sits down with one of his friends and he talks to different people throughout the weeks and shit. I think there's a new episode that just dropped now, if I'm not mistaken. The name of the podcast is called... What's it called? So, is it called Bad Decisions? I don't think it's called Bad... What's the name of the podcast? It's called Flirting with Friendship. That he does with a guy called Bill Patrick. It's a pretty fun one. I like the set design. They have some good little shorts and videos they put up on Instagram as well. But he did have some things to say about the scene and shit that I wanted to kind of react to that I'm going to play for you now. Here are some clips from the show. The first clip is this one. It says, better to be an amateur than a professional. And I think he's speaking to Roisin Murphy. Big up Roisin Murphy, legendary singer, performer, and everything else in between when it comes to fucking dance music and all that malarkey. You know who she is. An absolute fucking legend. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering her name, but you know who I'm talking about. Let's actually see what they say about being a fucking amateur.
Definitely. I always feel like believing in your own shit too much is when you start to slide, you know, the too many yes people around, or believing that you're somebody, you know, is kind of a thing I think many artists fall into, where they're like, oh, I'm this, and you're just like, God, I'm just, me and Bill are always like, I'm just a piece of shit. I'm like a fucking...
Well, there's a great quote.
It's funny he says that because it wasn't Seth Troxler known as being the person who burst onto the scene with like the supreme levels of confidence. That's part of the reason why most of us kind of fell in love with him and kind of followed his journey. He came into it already like a fully formed artist, a fully formed DJ with a very clear point of view, you know what I mean, very opinionated, very boisterous, very out there, very creative, very confident. So for him to be like, oh yeah, don't, you know, I don't know why all these kids have so much confidence, and if it's like, brother, that was who you were. We're following your blueprint.
That I take from Ira Glass from This American Life, and it says, for those of us who are not hopeless egomaniacs, there's a normal balancing of believing you're somebody, but also,
you know, your unk and you know your boomer when you immediately recognize the outsole of the shoe and you know that's a croc. You know you're reaching unk boomer status when you can immediately tell from that angle what shoe he's wearing. That's a fucking croc clog. It's fucking crazy. You can just tell immediately from there.
Believing you are nobody, and just having to stay. And I think we kind of, especially artists, tend to go a little extreme on both ends sometimes. But I mean, I think it's always never be hot, always be warm, and you stay warm. Yeah, staying warm gives you a little bit more of that drive to just keep going.
Craig Richards once told me, he's like, I've never considered myself a professional. And I was like, why is that, Greg? He's like, because if you're an amateur, no one can ever accuse you of being unprofessional.
I heard something the other day about...
People love to say that who've made it in it and try and say that that's advice that you should take. Because you should be happy you're a professional. This is the best part of your learning experience. Like, brother, fuck off, mate. Like, give me some of your fucking gigs. Put your arm around my shoulder. Intro me to some of the fucking owners. Get me a fucking booking agent. Take me on the road with you, mate. Let me open up for some of the gigs you're doing. Shut up. About, oh yeah, you should be happy. What, you should be happy I'm playing a open format bar gig for like £150 or for like drink tokens. This is good to be an amateur, right? It's good. Nah, mate. I want to be playing in clubs where I get to play the music that I actually am into and listen to. I get to actually experiment. I get to actually take people on a fucking little bit of a journey. I get to actually learn. I get to actually play amongst people that I've kind of always looked up to. I get to go to play in some of the best clubs and festivals in the world. Like, allow this, like, yeah, actually being an amateur is really good. Like, shut up. You're only saying that because you made it. You can have that fucking mindset, that perspective change, right? Or the way that you kind of frame or you kind of look at what you do. But when you're trying to make it, when you're trying to go up, you know, when you're trying to do something, you want to be a professional. You want to be a pro. You want to be paid like a pro. You want to be booked like a pro. You want to be treated like a pro. You want to be in pro environments. You know, you want to be given professional level chances. Like, come on, bro. Like, fuck off out of here, bro. You don't want to be playing at the Star of Bethnal every day or until the end of time. I don't think you would be anyway. But what do I know?
How professional is a terrible word, and that amateur is a beautiful word because it comes from amour, from love.
Come on, Roisin Murphy. Do you want to be an amateur and playing open mic nights in fucking local pubs around Ireland and shit, or around here and stuff? Come on, girl. Come on. Will you swap doing fucking gigs in Panel Bar? Will you swap doing gigs at fucking Primavera Festival for busking in the fucking London Underground and being a quote unquote amateur? Come on.
Love actually is kind of a theme, it seems, often in your music.
Wanting it.
Yeah, why, you know, same.
Please love me.
For me, what about me? Can someone love me how I want to be loved?
But yeah, I found that really interesting, innit? Be an amateur. Be happy to be an amateur. It's like, brother, no, I want to be a professional. You are a professional and you seem to be living great. I want to do what you're doing or even surpass what you're doing. Bring me into that level, please, about being amateur. Fuck out of here.
You know?
Next one. A clip taken from Seth Troxler's appearance on a podcast called... This is with these guys. I've got their names again. TSL Time podcast. Seth Troxler's done 2 interviews with these guys. This is the most recent one where he says enough is not enough. This is Seth Troxler sitting down with these guys from TSL podcast, and this is a clip where he's talking about enough not being enough.
And then also being satisfied with enough. Have you heard that one where it's just like so like a lot like it's something I ask myself all the time. It's like, what is enough?
I am enough. That's what they tell you in self-help. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not enough. I hate myself.
You just got to keep going. A little bit of
though. Like, what do we all want? We all want to be comfortable. We want a house like this. And the thing is, when you can see all those dreams possible, it's almost easier to be a loser where you don't have to worry because your life is never going to get that much better. But when you're fucking winning, you're like, how far can we take this? And I say to people,
I don't like that. It's almost saying as if, like, if you're not involved in the arts, if you're not trying to pursue a creative field, if you're not trying to pursue some sort of creative profession and you're just working a regular fucking job, that somehow that isn't worthy. It's almost as if like the really hard task in life is to try to make it, try to achieve this really lofty goal, try to get to this level, try to keep on, keep on kind of building, taking incremental steps, evolving, developing your... It's like, come on, brother, come on. There's value in everything. There's value in having a quote-unquote regular 9-to-5, seeking or getting some sort of level of fulfillment from that, allowing that 9-to-5 to fuel some of the things that you want to do on the side, but maybe not even pursuing it. There's some people out there that probably are very content that way. Never really pursued anything in the arts or in entertainment, but don't mind spending their hard-earned money on enjoying some of those art and entertainment things like festivals, buying albums, going to fucking listening sessions and signings and shit and seminars and ADEs kicking off at the moment in Amsterdam, like all that sort of stuff. There's a bunch of people that are like super passionate and super interested in the dance music or club music kind of like scene, who want no business getting behind the decks or getting behind a fucking NPC or a keyboard and shit. And I think they are worthy too, my friend. I don't think it's just, oh yeah, it's harder, it's almost better to be what is a loser anyway? What do you mean a loser? What does that mean? Somebody that doesn't pursue a career in the arts, somebody that's not trying to be their own boss is a loser. I don't like that. I don't like that way of looking at things, to be honest, because I think the majority of club culture, the majority of club music, the majority of dance music, weirdly enough, is funded by or is propped up by regular people who work regular jobs. Without these regular people who don't have any desire to be the next fucking Seth Troxler, you wouldn't have a fucking industry and scene. So I do find it weird how they seem to kind of look down, you know, on regular people who kind of, you know, for lack of a better term, pay their wages. Like, let's relax.
Who are younger, you got to run as fast as you can, because it kind of ends up plateauing a little bit, and then you're just kind of in this cool zone where, like, I'm at a place where I kind of ran now I'm like, fuck, I'm trying to go for it again, from 40 to 50, and then hopefully I think enough is 20 million.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
it's funny he says that though, because you'd imagine throughout his lifetime or his career, he's probably made 20 million, isn't it? It's kind of weird that he'd say that, because I honestly do think, not to pocket watch the guy, but he's probably made close to that. So it's like what did you do with that with that early opportunity, with that time early on when there wasn't much competition, when you were out there running and gunning, doing a million gigs, getting voted top DJ in RA and shit? He's probably, I'd imagine, I don't know if this is true, but I'm just gonna shoot off the top of my fucking, you know, shoot from my hip and shit and just talk out my ass. But I'd imagine Seth Troxler probably was commanding his highest, I don't know how it works actually, maybe it's the opposite way, but I would assume back then, RA days, he was probably making the most money he's ever made as a DJ. He's probably making the most, probably commanding the highest fee, as opposed to nowadays. So what, you want to make 20 million again because you blew the other 20 mil? Why can't you be content with just having this sick career? Why does it have to be like a monetary number? And who's to say if you make it again, you won't blow it again anyway?
What?
It's not that much. It's a lot. I mean, I look like an ass.
Like if you got 20 million and you're smart with it, you can
super detached from reality, and it's not that much. Like, it's not that much. It is a lot, really, if you think about it, especially for what they do, right? Playing for what, couple of hours a night, most of the time, probably not even fresh sets, rehashing, replaying the same set you played the other day. Not the most, you know, high level of a, you know, I don't know. Maybe a great selector. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big Seth Troxler fan, but I think more so his whole aura, his whole image, everything about him, his total package is great. But in terms of a technical DJ, someone's gonna really, you know, wow you. Not really that kind of guy. More of a selector vibes type of dude anyway. So still, I think, you know, I think for the most part, I think they're grossly overpaid. Similar to fucking stand-up comedians, I think they're probably two of the DJs and stand-up comedians are on the lowest rung of the entertainment ladder. They're two of the jobs that most people can do. They got the lowest barrier of entry, but they are obscenely paid. Like sometimes, which isn't really relative or to what they actually do. You know, if you think about it, really, no comedian really should be getting paid like millions to do a fucking stand-up set. Most of them are fucking terrible. But some comedians are getting paid millions or hundreds of thousands, and there are some DJs out there that are getting paid hundreds of thousands also, and they have no business earning that. No business earning that whatsoever.
You can make that, like,
you can make it. You can make it.
It might sound like an ass thing, but the truth is that
in today's world, the oncoming tech fascism, authoritarian play, you know, the only way it's going to be comfortable is if you're rich, because it's no longer about race. It's really a class thing that's coming. You know, if you look at, you know,
again, I don't like this message. I think if you're somebody that was of the level that he's of, I think you should be maybe telling people that what they should be demanding from their governments, from their politicians, is a fairer wage, is more access to affordable fucking housing, is the ability for them to be able to put their kids through school, have fucking free healthcare and shit, and have their basic needs covered. If the fucking oligarchs and shit want to rape and pillage the world, fair enough, but allow us to have our little plot of land. Allow us to have the ability to fucking feed our families and put our kids through school. That should be the bare minimum across the board. If they want to, again, rinse all the resources, deplete all of this, build their bunkers, go ahead, but give us a little something. Not just tell everyone to get rich. How's that going to happen? Everyone's going to become a crypto millionaire. It's not possible.
read Brave New World or, you know, any science fiction or even the new Alien Earth, right? You know, there's different levels of society, you know, and those levels of society are really based on income. You have kids, you have whatever. If you want to get into the science fiction kind of play of what the future will look like, it's going to be many different classes, right? And no matter what, if you're in fucking Nazi Germany or Russia or fucking wherever, as long as you're at the top class, you don't really have so much to worry about, you know, even in the world's biggest problems, right? Which is really fucked up for me to say, but but it is the honesty of life. So like when you have 2 kids and a family and you've worked your whole life and you're looking at the future in a very logical way and the troubles we're going to have here in the future, you know, Palantir, them having all your fucking data. Like I'm afraid to post shit online these days.
Are you still on your Instagram? Or
I'm still on my Instagram, but I post stuff. And like right now, I'm supposed to be going on to America on a family trip with my wife. And like her ESTA's taking a really long time. And I'm like, did I get you blacklisted? Or like, you know, it's like crazy stuff is happening right now. That's because I made a couple meme posts about the president sucking, you know, that's like not freedom. And, I'm American, but they work in funny ways. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of went off on a little tangent there, but I feel like 20, it's not really fuck you money or stupid money, but it's like, what
do you think fuck you money is? Like at what point do you have fuck you?
Well, there's fuck you and then there's stupid, right? Yeah. I think stupid.
It's weird he's even talking about fuck you money because you'd imagine being a DJ or living the lifestyle that he lives, the occupation that he has, it's kind of a big fuck you anyway. Doesn't really matter what you're making. You kind of get to like live on an alternative sort of like timeline and schedule to everybody else. Because I think DJs talk about it a lot, right? It's quite a lonely career as a professional DJ because most of the time you're free during the week. You're free during the week You're free during the week when everyone's working, but on the weekends you're always flying around the world. You're in and out of hotels. You're not really in cities long enough to really explore or to have a drink with anybody. You're kind of in and out, boarding another plane, going to the next fucking gig. So in a way, you kind of live a lifestyle where you get to kind of say fuck you, because your entire life, if you want it to be, can be one long party. It's obviously eventually going to end. You're going to maybe crash at one point, but you can make it into one big party if you want to. So I do find it odd. I do find it strange how he's kind of making it seem like there's a monetary level that needs to be. That's like, brother, your whole lifestyle is a fuck you. That should be the goal. That's the aim. Like most people, I think, especially people in my position, like when you're coming up, and again, when you're playing open format DJ gigs in fucking pubs and bars and shit for like punters that don't want you to be there, partners who have their back to you, venues where they have the TV on. I've DJs in gigs where they have the fucking TV on and shit. You would die to have the opportunity to play in some of the places that he's playing in, and again have the ability to say fuck you to those gigs. So for him to have another thing, I think maybe this kind of shows you the human fallacy, right? And how depressing it is, because this is somebody that's at the top of his game, Seth Troxler, right? A legend in the game. And even he is telling you that, hey, I've made it and it's still not enough. That's kind of scary. That's kind of worrying, isn't it? He's telling you, look, I've made it. I've done everything. I've done everything that you can think of and some. And I'm telling you it's not enough. That's kind of scary, because I'm sat here thinking to myself, look, I wouldn't complain as long as I had like a decent amount of gigs that could like pay my rent. I mean, I wouldn't give a fuck as long as I got a decent enough of gigs that could pay my rent and shit. And I played in some cool places from time to time here and there, but I got to play the music that I actually want to play for an audience that is captive enough or interested enough to hear it, and I could let that pay my gigs. I'd be fine. But I guess that's not true. I guess the truth is, once you get to that level of paying your rent, you then want to be able to afford a car. You then want to be able to afford a 2-bedroom house, then a 3-bedroom house. Now your taste levels also increase. I don't think I'll be that person though. I'm going to be honest. I don't think I'll be that person. I think I have the ability to maintain my same level of spending, my same taste, my same interest or whatever, spend without having my income dictate it, you know? You know how some people, like, every time they get a promotion, they then sort of like have more fancier taste. I don't think I'll be that person. I think I can kind of operate on the level that I'm currently at. You know what I mean? I think I'll still be drinking buzz balls and magnums and shit. I honestly do think I'll be that person, because I've done it before in my life. I don't think of, like, when I made like loads of money working at a certain job, I didn't suddenly go and get a fucking Shoreditch House membership, you know? That's what some people start doing. Start going to private members club, leasing fancy cars, going to, you know, buying fucking their underwear and fucking Dolce & Gabbana and shit. I'm not going to be that kind of person. But again, it's easier to say that now. It's easier to say that now in my position, but maybe when you get there, things change. So who knows?
It's beyond fuck you.
Yeah.
Because fuck you is like, fuck you, I don't need to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You do whatever the fuck you want. Like, you don't need to...
No, you can do whatever you want, but you're not buyable.
Right. Yeah. Like, you don't, like, a good deal comes your way and you're just like,
I don't need to take that.
I don't need to sell out. I don't need to, like, you're like, oh, whatever. Actually, no. Yeah. I don't fucking need to do that. I don't have to go, like, I take gigs all the time because I need to work, right?
Yeah.
If I had more money, I could be like, no. That's like, fuck you, no. Stupid is where you start doing stupid shit with your money because you have so much and you can't lose it.
You don't even know what to do with it.
Yeah, when you don't know what to do with it.
You just need to distract yourself.
Because it's like 2 or 3 generations of money that you can waste. Then that's stupid money, you know?
Again, maybe I've just got a very idealistic way of looking at things, but for me, the game or the aim has always been to be able to live life on my own terms. That's from the moment I first kind of got into reading self-help books and shit and motivational material, following startups and shit, getting into fashion, getting into streetwear, getting into design, blah, 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 blah. The name of the game was always to be the person who can live life on their terms and not be beholden by a job or whatever it may be to turn up at a certain place, do a certain thing, So for me, I don't think I could ever be the person who suddenly lives like that and then gets into a room with other people who have like maybe more expensive hobbies, maybe different tools, maybe different interests and shit, and then suddenly feel like my life is inadequate. I don't think that would happen to me. Like, I don't think I could be a rich person and then get into a room full of richer people and then suddenly feel like I'm poor. You know, it's just a different level. It's just a different level of what I'm currently doing. It'd be fascinating to kind of hear what they're doing on their level, but it wouldn't make me feel less than, and it wouldn't make me desire to have what they have, you know, unless I wanted it. And I generally don't think I'm an overly materialistic person anyway, so I think it would be easy to kind of maintain my current level of spending, whatever behavior, and just keep it in line with my earning and not let it get too crazy. Because I think this is a really somewhat depressing way to kind of live your life if you're Seth Troxler. Like, he's done everything. He's a fucking legend. He's hit the heady heights, and he's telling you that, oh, he's already made this money. I need stupid money now. It's like, what's that gonna do? What's that gonna change? What's that going to allow you to do that you couldn't do now? I don't understand it. It's so weird point of view, but you know, I guess maybe at least he's being honest, because maybe the reality is what he's saying. Maybe when you get to that level, the truth is once you get around those type of people, it's all well and good saying what I'm saying now, but once you get there, it changes, you know? Maybe that's the whole point of it. Maybe that's the whole point of it. Maybe that's the whole point of it. Big up Seth Troxler. And then we got another one here. This is from the interview with Royce and Murphy, where Seth Troxler talks about hating DJs that don't wear headphones. This is a really funny clip, by the way. Hating DJs that don't wear headphones.
I find it funny. I saw this guy the other day. I'm not going to say his name because I'm trying to not be that person anymore. It's been hard. But like I saw in some videos online, and we had a thing, because you know how this whole whose name is da-da-da, you know, and I was doing this festival, and then I was like trying to put this guy's, and I was like, this isn't, no, and I never really make a fuss about things. And I started looking online, and I was like, this motherfucker doesn't even use headphones, right? So I was thinking in my mind a little bit, and then I saw him at this festival over there, and I was like, hey, what? I go, Seth, nice to meet you. I was like, hey, so let me ask you a question. Do you have headphones? And he's like, no, I don't use headphones. And I was like, so how does that work? Like, how do you do this? And he's like, oh, I play mostly my own songs. And I'm like, so you do the same thing? Like, how? And he kind of like, then he's like, well, you know, I did used to wear headphones, but it was more for ear protection.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, hold yourself, Seth. Like, hold it fucking together. It's frustrating, though.
You can't be frustrated by it, though. You really have to not allow yourself.
Irritated.
You know, at the same time, you know, I could say to you, we put all the effort in, and there's 14 people in the touring, and then there's like 20 suitcases of clothes even, you know, never mind the gear. It's insane what goes on to make this show happen and so on. And then you turn up and play a festival, and then a DJ comes on, and and they go even, and you think you've done a good gig, and then they go even more mad for the DJ,
like the first gig.
And it's like, I grew up around live music. I grew up looking at musicians interacting with each other and knowing that's a bass sound and that's a guitar sound and that's a sax and that's a trumpet and that's a this and that's a, you know. But there's some people in the audience there that don't know where the sounds are coming from, so it doesn't make any difference to them that it was difficult to do, or that everybody's virtuoso musicians. They actually don't know
at all
that they're playing anything, or they would get more out of it if they concentrated more, but then that takes
patience and engagement.
I really dislike what he said about the DJ don't wear headphones. Like, I get it's annoying because maybe he's coming from it as a purist point of view, but maybe I'm just a purist raver and a lover of parties, and I think as long as a person's rocking, as long as a person is doing a good job in terms of keeping people dancing on the dance floor, delighting and surprising them with their musical choices, taking them on a journey, and just fucking making their mind fucking melt and getting them nice and hot and sweaty and loose and limber on the fucking dance floor, it doesn't really matter what the fuck they're doing behind the booth. I don't care if they're playing, if they're fucking DJing with the tips of their toes. I don't really care if they're DJing with their elbows. I don't care if they're DJing like in a handstand. I don't care if they're doing it wearing a fucking horse mask, wearing no headphones, standing on a DJ booth, doing backflips behind their booth. I don't care. As long as they can DJ correctly or not correctly, as long as they're fans and ravers on the dance floor having a good time, really should it matter or not if they fucking got headphones on? If anything, there should be an argument, right? And I think it's something probably a lot of people wouldn't want to hear. But there's maybe a debate, there's maybe an argument to be had for, maybe there should be a type of DJ that goes and plays their greatest hits every time they go and play. I know in the hip hop world that does happen. Back in the day, what were they called again? What were they called? Was it Living Proof? Yeah, Living Proof. Big up Living Proof. Back in the day, there was this hip hop night in London called Living Proof. They used to take place in Marketplace Bar in central London. Really fucking fun party, right? Mostly playing hip hop and R&B. And there'd be these DJs playing, and they'd usually, for the most part that we were there, I swear to God, like with the exception of maybe a couple, they play the same set every fucking weekend. But it killed every fucking weekend. It'd be like A Tribe Called Quest. It'd be like Dipset. It'd be like, I don't know, whatever, who was big at that time, right? It'd be just a mix of all these different things, right? And it would always fucking bang because it would always be these like really complementary tracks that would kind of go well with each other. So I wonder if that needs to be something that kind of is applied to other genres of dance music, where so the person turns up and they play a set where you know it's just bang. It's like a comedian. I think there's a certain level of a comedian who goes to perform somewhere who should go and perform the greatest hits. Like people shouldn't pay £50 and plus for a ticket and then see you experimenting, see you trying out new material. No. I booked my ticket to come and see you perform because I want to hear the hits. Give me an hour of your greatest hits material. And I think that should be applied to DJs too. So if that means you have a pre-done set that you kind of maybe edit and loop and add effects to while you're playing, or you just know it like the back of your hand, so you don't really need to DJ, right? Because there's some people that can DJ where you just have your cue points set in a particular way, so you don't really actually need to listen to the songs, that you know exactly when something's meant to come in, and you're also almost on kind of autopilot. I've not got no problem with that. I've got no problem with that whatsoever. I swear to God, I've got no problem with that whatsoever fucking ever. I think that's actually a good way to kind of go about doing things. And if anything, it gives a punter, I think, a far more polished and final product. It kind of allows them to just get lost in the fucking music without wondering if this person's going to turn up and have a good set or not. But I definitely don't think that having headphone things is that important. I think this is just, nitpicking for nitpicking's sake. I don't think it's that important. I really don't fucking think it's that important.
Attention.
Attention, which is what's lacking.
Attention.
Yeah, we're like the attention deficit like age,
generation,
right?
Yes, it's true, yeah.
Where it's gone so far away from our generation being a music-based experience where you are so excited to go out, to hear new music, to be inspired by something new. I find it funny. I saw this guy the other.
I don't know. I think he's been. I think maybe it's just old age, isn't it? Maybe this is what Seth Troxler's doing. Maybe it's just old age. Maybe he's just getting to a point where he's just becoming like a grumpy old man. But I think it's a weird point to be like upset about. Oh, this guy was playing and he wasn't using headphones. Like, was he playing good? Was he playing well? Were the ravers, were the fans and the dance floor enjoying it? Yes. Okay, cool. Who gives a fuck? Like, really, who fucking gives a fuck? Especially nowadays with the amount of shitty DJs that are around, right? With the amount of mediocre people out there making a living who are kind of, you know, literally like destroying the booths and bleeding people's ears. I think the most important thing is just to make sure whoever plays is good at playing. Whoever plays knows how to play well to their crowd. Whoever plays knows how to fucking play. And that's it. I don't care what the fuck they're doing. I really don't give a Scooby-Dooby what they're doing up there. Controller, no controller, MIDI, live, this, that. I don't care. Are you killing it? Yes or no? If it's yes, keep on doing your thing. More power to you. More power to you. Let's move on. Another one.
There's always another
clip. He says here, Seth Troxler complains about having to work more to spend more time with his family. Interesting clip here again from Seth Troxler. Let's hear his opinions on work-life balance.
A mountain you want to keep climbing.
I've climbed a mountain before.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, but you got to keep it fucking moving, you know? That's the whole thing. It's like, where on the spectrum is this idea of fun, enjoyment, health? You know, that's like yours, the world's, you know, healthiest degenerate. Like, what is that, you know, of family, of life? What is that perfect thing that we're...
By the way, that sounds horrible. I'm not going to lie. Maybe, you know, health awareness is important too, but trying to be the world's healthiest degenerate sounds horrendous. That's an oxymoron in itself. I don't like that whatsoever. I think you should have your degenerate phase. You should have your healthy phase, but they shouldn't be intertwined. You shouldn't be trying to be a healthy degenerate. You should be trying to enjoy your work, especially if you're a DJ, while you're fucked up, and enjoy that moment in time. And then once that time is over, once you have to hang up your fucking hat, you should be able to enjoy it somewhat clean and sober too. You shouldn't be trying to mix the two. This sounds kind of Bert Kreischer-like.
We're all searching for that will say, this is contentment. This is enough. Like, today I was sitting with my kids watching fucking Mouse Eats a Cookie or some shit, and they were both cuddled on me, and I was like, this is the best shit of my life. You know, and like, how do I get more time so I can do more of this
with your kid?
Surely being a DJ should afford you the opportunity to spend more time with your kids, no? Because in my lame brain, right, in my really uninformed brain, uninformed ways, I would imagine that a DJ gig or DJ career affords you the ability to make a crazy amount of money that's not really relative to the job that you do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you probably get paid a month's salary for one gig. Some DJs do, whether it's $5,000 and upwards, right? Most of us, you know, regular normal human beings out there, we're maybe getting paid, I don't know, 1,500s plus, right? In terms of like a regular normal kind of salary. Maybe some of us is 1,000. So, you know, pray for you and hope you get that fucking bumper promotion. But if you're a DJ and you get paid a gig, one gig, you get paid 1,500. Surely that the easy math should be, hey, let me play a few of these gigs in a row. Let me maybe go crazy during the summer season, during the festival season. And then once I stuck up enough money, I'll use that money to live and survive on. And then I'll be able to look after and hang out with my family and then go back on the road again. Maybe it's a bit harder in practice, because if you take time off, it then gives space to other people to come in and maybe take over from you, or maybe impress. And then, you know, you might be out of mind type of thing. But I would think having a career as a DJ should afford you the ability to hang out with your family more. Like, if you're a professional DJ and you don't have time to hang out with your family, I think you're doing it wrong. I think that's mostly a user error type of shit. You should be saving the money that you get from your gigs and then using that money to give you the runway to chill with your family, guilt-free type of thing. I think that's what you should be doing. But again, maybe it's easier said than done.
With my kids, but I got to work more to get more money for more time. So
it's an interesting trade-off.
I think he's willingly or willfully putting himself in this hamster wheel. he's putting himself in this conundrum. I don't think you need to make more money in order to then spend more time with your kids. I think you could easily make the money, stack the money, and then use that money to spend more time with your kids and take time off from work and then rinse and repeat. But I think he's willfully putting himself in a place where it's like, oh man, I have to work. You know, it's almost like I won't say an excuse. It's almost like a good way for you to kind of avoid addressing the actual problem, which is you're not spending enough time with your kids. But if you just say, oh, I have to work, it almost gives you a get out of jail free card, you know?
It's a fucked up thing, right? Like your whole life, you work to get time to not work, to do cool shit. But then you have to keep working, where we've kind of all cracked the code where you don't work for someone else, which is great. But when you don't work for someone else, you work even fucking more.
That's right, because the clock never turns off.
The clock never turns off. And you're just like, how did post-capitalism end up in this fucking situation where we're just like constantly on this hamster wheel?
Yeah, but you're in the hamster wheel of your own invention. He's purposely put himself there, and now he's blaming others. I think it's your own fault. I don't think you need to be in a hamster wheel. Your job itself allows you not to be in a hamster wheel. Yes, I know the industry is a bit different, right? The actual mechanics of it. You're like in one venue, out of the other, into another. It's kind of a bit of a hamster wheel. But you can decide to stop running. You can decide to take time off. Loads of DJs have done it and have a balanced kind of like family life, whatever. But he doesn't want to. I think that's the real truth. Maybe the truth is he doesn't want to admit that he doesn't really want to be settling down with his family. There's a bit of Bert Kreischer about him. I think he actually mentions liking Bert Kreischer and that being somebody he kind of looks up to. So I think that's why I keep mentioning it as well. But I think he mentioned in one of these clips that he's a big fan of Bert Kreischer. But it's a bit Bert Kreischer-esque, you know? It's like you don't really want to fully admit that you don't really want to look after your kids. You don't really want to raise them. You'd rather your wife do it and you focus on making the money, aka not being around, you know? And then popping back in when they're like fully formed adults and shit. And expect them to be like, you know, lovey-dovey. It's like, it's not going to work that way.
Of happiness and small moments of freedom.
Yeah.
And then you get back on the wheel to get time to have those small moments of freedom and like awesomeness. But then it's just like, to say at 25, you guys got time to figure it out and clock out, man. It's fucking great.
It's like you said, it's all the biggest, most important thing in life is having more time.
Time is
time with
everything.
family and time with friends, and you know, it's like, dude, like seriously, we were.
I love these empty platitudes, these vague things that just don't, you know, it's like they mean a lot, but they don't mean anything, you know. I love this sort of chat. This is perfect after chat.
It's been 1 year since we did that tour, and it went like that.
Yo,
snap fingers, boom. Now we're here.
We're gonna be at your 30th. Very soon.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
We're actually going to be at your 40th. Very soon. Very soon. There's always another mountain you want to keep.
So yeah, I don't know. I think he's personally. I think he's doing it wrong. I think personally, Seth is doing it wrong. He should be trying his best to, again, be able to stack up the money needed to allow him the runway to hang out with his family and then go back on the road again. You don't need to be in this constant hamster wheel. I think he's in the hamster wheel of his own design, personally. I could be wrong, but I think he's the hamster wheel of his own design and making. But again, I could be wrong. Again, I could be blood clot wrong. Who's to know? Who's to know? Who's to know?
Put yourself in the hospital.
Another clip here. This I think this might be the Seth Troxler. This might be the Bert Kreischer one. Seth Troxler drank so much he burned his throat and is thinking of quitting DJing. Honestly, this kind of goes to show you the degenerate levels that he's been living over the years. Because I personally don't think this is anything to brag about or laugh about. I think this is quite embarrassing. Personally, I think this is quite embarrassing. But let's listen to Seth Troxler, you know, telling us his stories of burning the candle at both ends.
After August?
Yeah, I had fucking this thing on my here and like a muscle. Like yeah.
Didn't the doctor tell you that too many tequila shots that you no longer have an esophagus?
Oh yeah, that's just been burned away. Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. I was in the hospital last year. Yeah, no. Yeah, you can acid reflux and other stuff. I burnt away the thing in my.
And you're fine though.
Yeah, I'm fine, but the.
Can you imagine that? I burnt away the thing in my esophagus. like saying it so nonchalantly and shit. It's like, oh yeah. Like, how much were you It's no surprise though, because now Seth Troxler looks way better now. I think he's been on Ozempic and shit, so big up Ozempic. He needs to get on that shit as well. He looks really good. But there was a time where he was looking horrendous. Like super hard pot belly, like Bert Kreischer level of fucking, 9 months pregnant. He's looking awful. So I guess that was a clear evidence and sign that he was drinking a bit. And to be fair to me, he has suffered quite a bit of loss, right? I think he had a friend. Was it Seth Troxler? I think it was Seth Troxler who had a friend during the pandemic who died by like fire and stuff. Remember at home? I think a few of you guys remember that story. Seth Troxler had some friend who I think is a restaurateur or someone, and I think he was in his flat somewhere in Frankfurt or somewhere, maybe had an episode and burned himself alive in the crib and shit. Like horrible way to go. I don't know why I know this, but I think I was following the story somewhere. And then I think somebody else in his life passed away. So maybe he's dealing with a lot of that sort of shit, dealing with the shifting changes in DJ industry and culture and stuff. But I don't know if I could turn to drink that much where it burns through my esophagus. Like, fucking hell. How much drink were you pulling back, man?
Fucking the cells, they're starting to change. So the doctor's like, if you don't get a hold of that acid reflux now, you will have cancer one day. So I think though,
extensive acid reflux can cause cancer. Jesus.
I might soon be hanging up
No.
the bootstraps.
Really?
For a little bit. 40s here. I got 2 kids.
I think, to be fair, you probably should, innit? I think being a comedian, it's like being a comedian. Being a stand-up comedian on stage, jumping around, talking about dicks and pussies and shit in your 60s, it's very unbecoming. It's very, very lame, and you probably should stop. Same as being a DJ behind the booth, trying to act all cool, having like a cool young guy shirt and whatever. And it's just not, I don't know. Evolve, do something else. Open a wine bar. Start a soft clubbing venue. Open an agency. Do something. You know what I mean? Get out of it. Like, get the fuck out before. And you also want to get out on your own terms. You don't want the game to boot you before you've quote unquote booted the game. I don't know, man. It seems a bit wild. It really does seem a bit wild, but I get his point of view. I really do, because I feel like, like something needs to give. Something needs to give. You can't be doing that lifestyle forever and ever, I don't think. And it's also not that fun, you'd imagine, forever and ever. It should be a thing that you do and time capture in life, and you kind of move on to other things. But what do I know?
My health is
It's important.
in between, and maybe I can't be a motherfucker anymore. Like all the time.
Did you speak about that on Flirting with Friendship?
I always say
I mean,
that.
yeah, you've been implying it for a little bit.
I'm gonna wrap it up with being a fucking maniac. It is so hard.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's the hardest thing. I mean, it's
when you got that dog in your blood.
Yeah.
Just constantly barking.
I just don't understand. He's
yeah. You see others, and it's just like it wants to come out of the cage.
It's such a
and
crazy
it's like
world.
that's a thing where like, do you have to stop? And that's the.
I think you do. I think you should either stop or evolve into something else. Maybe just maybe not stop in terms of like give up raving forever, but I think it should be a different way of doing it than when you were doing it when you were like 19, 21, 22, 23. I mean, it should be different. It really, really should. And the fact that it isn't for these guys is the concerning part for the most part, That's really the concerning part. Like, there's never a difference. There's never a change. It's just the same shit again and again and again and again. It's like, come on, don't you get bored? Especially if you're Seth, like, you've seen and done everything. You've seen and done fucking everything. Like, there's really nothing new for you to see or experience, for the most part, you'd imagine. Yet you still want to be doing, I don't know, like, people like myself, I get bored of my local scene. This guy's had access to the world scene, and he still feels like he needs more. It's like, god damn it. I guess it's somewhat, funny because, whatever. But Jesus Christ.
Question,
I mean, after 20 years, it's
25 years.
25 fucking years.
In raves.
Yeah.
And I'm at this kind of convergence point of.
And I feel like as well, much like fighting, you age differently when you're a clubber or you DJ and stuff. I think you age you age more. So maybe if you're 40, you're probably 45, in terms of like club or dance for years, because you're out and about with people, you're getting in and out of prison, fights, all this shit. So I mean, so I definitely think this is one of them ones. Definitely think this is one of them ones. Honestly, absolute madness.
You know, trying to be a good person.
Yeah.
And being a complete scumbag. And it's just like, damn.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
With the desires that I have for complete indulgence in life.
Yeah.
It's kind of depressing and sad too that those desires and whatever he has for life haven't been somewhat nerfed because he has kids. You think kids will do the thing of like making you be on the straight and narrow, but it seems like that hasn't helped him in the slightest. That hasn't helped him at all. That's a really sad part. That's a really, really fucking sad part. What do I know?
You know? And but the thing is as well, when you won everything and you keep winning, it's like Bert Kreischer. You know? It's like, yeah, this is who I am. Yeah. I love a tequila lime and soda in the morning. Like, why? I love that feeling I get when I sit down with the boys next to the grill. I pop a cold one.
Wow. He even knows that fucking Bert Kreischer speech off by heart. That's not a good sign. You know, if your DJ's favorite comedian is Bert Kreischer, it's probably not a good sign. It's probably not a good sign. That means the end is near for that person too, if they're fucking believing all that shit coming out their mouth. You know what I mean? It's like, god damn. Absolutely horrific scenes. Absolutely horrific scenes.
Drink a whole beer in one fucking sip.
He's not much better feelings in the world.
Jesus Christ.
Cocktail looking out at the sunset.
It gets even better the older you get. I just fucking tits my lips. It just tastes so good.
You're making me want to have a shot right
now. So what does that look like though, Seth? You think besides like slowing down the shows? Because I mean, obviously, like when I saw you in Miami, what was it? 2 months ago?
Yeah.
3 months ago? Like I really like, and it's not only I see it in the videos people post. Like you did make a huge progression in the last year.
That's the thing. I've made crazy gains. Right?
It's been a strong start.
Better shape than I've ever been in. Everything's good.
Big up Ozempic.
Good. Less than I've ever done on other stuff. But I'm still just fucking
The body's telling you it kind of wants the switch to
the doctors.
The doctors.
Yeah.
The doctors.
Because
you can't not listen to the doctors.
body feels great, but you know.
The doctors are telling you otherwise.
Yeah. There's only a point where my income in modern medicine can help me.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Surely don't get to that point. Surely get to a point where you're preventing stuff from happening. You're not just reacting to your bad lifestyle choices. But again, what do I know?
Like both are fucking cool. I got these like look at these like fucking slippers I'm wearing. These like high European pant.
You got
this is like
the diamond cutter steppers.
I look like Cheryl from fucking Wisconsin over here with these fucking capris on.
That's a good fit though.
Yeah, no, they look really
nice
good.
fit.
It's Vivian Westwood. It's like they're punk pants, but when
they're sick.
When you sit down on this camera, it doesn't look good.
No, it looks good. I'm getting in your head here a little bit. So you mentioned putting the boots up for a little bit, but you just started this new project.
I started the new project,
which is in anticipation probably of maybe you want to focus more on something that route and build.
Yeah. Everyone's been joking that I may be this guy who everyone was like, oh yeah, he used to DJ. Oh my gosh. No, the podcast thing is going incredible. I mean, we've only done a couple episodes, but the numbers are sick for what we're doing, and like
you enjoy it.
I enjoy it.
That's the most important thing.
I enjoy talking shit to people and hanging out like we do.
You should probably do that as a segue, as a way to kind of get out of the rat race of the hamster wheel of being a DJ. You know, take the full podcast fucking full time and make that work. Maybe that's a plan overall. But definitely would love to see that from him. Definitely want to see that from him, because this non-stop party machine thing is kind of lame. I'm not gonna lie.
You know, that's what I think made our podcast good before, is just like when you're shooting the shit with your friends, it's real, it's honest, you know?
Yeah.
And so many people you meet otherwise, it's just like fucking boring.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like, oh my God, I just had, God bless, a dear friend of mine, Zoe, just passed away. At her funeral the other day, but she always had this thing. Her aunt had told her years ago, you could bring anyone over, any views, whatever, as long as they're not fucking boring. Mm-hmm. You know, like in life, just don't be like fucking come down, a bore.
And again, maybe it's the boomer in me. I don't think there's anything wrong with being boring. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a calm down. I think everyone plays their role. I don't think there's anything wrong with that being one of the main kind of character strengths or whatever it may be. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't like that, by the JLs or something else. But I don't think there's anything wrong with people who have that side, you know? Or people who kind of have that perspective or have that outlook or have that behavior when it comes to living life and shit, who maybe are not enthralled with the same thing he's enthralled with. It just seems like a weird thing to fucking specify over. But hey, what do I know? Absolutely nada. Let's continue. Big up Seth Troxler. Big up these guys. We've got a couple more now. What's this one? Yeah, so big up my guy Shacke. This is probably a couple more and then I'm gonna bounce actually. Big up Shacke, big up Shacke. Shacke was recently on Section. I need to go actually. I've never actually been to Section just yet. I don't know if they're gonna have any events soon actually. But are they gonna have anything soon? Because I've not actually been to a Section event in actually since its launch, but it does look fucking sick. It's this new live streaming platform, but they do it in Hackney Downs, if I'm not mistaken. Have they got anything up and coming actually? Let's see. What's their timetable? Markau, someone called Markau launching. Who played here? Zara Esso played here recently, and someone called Marcel and someone called Mona Sage. But I don't think they've got anyone playing soon. I think they've all gone. I think they've all probably gone, right? Week 25 live streams are online. Week 27, let's see. Week 20. Okay, so Thursday's passed, and they've got anything for tomorrow? Another week of so it's only till Thursday. I guess it's not on Fridays then, because I don't see anything there for the Friday, unfortunately. There's it's on Saturdays too. Okay, my bad. I got it completely mistaken. It's on Saturdays too. But big up Shacke, actually big up fucking Shacke. He smashed it out there, obviously, in fucking Section. And this is my favorite mix that he put together, actually. It's my favorite blend that I clipped out from it. So big up Shacke. Make sure you check out the whole link, the whole mix itself. Really fucking cool. He fucking killed it. This is his set from Section. Absolutely destroyed. This blend is so delicious. Killed it. Big up Shacke, big up Shacke. Absolutely destroyed. Love to hear it. Big up Shacke. Destroyer. Love the angle, love the angle, love the angle. You can see the vibe. Love the angle. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. Check out the whole thing. Check out the whole thing. Shacke killed it. Shacke killed it. Shacke fucking killed it. Okie dokie. Thank you for tuning in. That has been Action Zing Show episode number 961. Thank you for tuning in. If you've been tuning in live, if you're watching this show via the audio side of the pod, you will hear my tune of the day. That'll be courtesy of the Smashing Pumpkins. The track is Tear. Tear, courtesy of the Smashing Pumpkins, will be playing underneath my voice if you're watching this show or listening to the show on the audio side of things. If you're watching the show live, it'll just fade to black, and I'll see the rest of you guys later for a random show. But for now, take care, be safe, peace.